All right, Jesse Phillips, welcome to the podcast. It's been a little bit of a minute trying to hook you up and get you on here, but I do know that it's because you're just a giant, huge deal, and that's no fault of your own, other than you're a big deal. So I'll give you that.
No. When I looked at your array of people, I was like, why does she keep wanting me on here? Like, I just need to go back to my horses and cows and quit. Like, why does she pull me into this? I don't understand. Who she thinks that. I don't know who you think I am. But
I think you're pretty awesome, and that's all that matters to me. I don't give a shit where you come from and what your walk of life is or what you do for a living. If I find you fascinating, I want to pry at your brain.
I like it. We're very much the same in that area.
Yeah, well, let's just get right into this. Let's start with wherever we're going to start. So I met you briefly. I haven't even met you in person. I became acquaintance with you. I consider you a friend, and I consider your family a friend. Your family, friends of mine. I got really fortunate to meet you, through Tim Kay, who has the Veteran Project podcast and the Caregiver Project and works with Heart Support. And I kind of got to know you a little bit just from hearing things about you and hearing things about your family. And what I found really fascinating was I had no idea how many kids you had at first, because I was like, bro, how is this guy doing everything he does, from, writing to the photography to the production to having as many kids as you have, and then being in the service, and then just like going to school and doing all these things. I'm like, and I complain about one.
Well, now you know why I'm hard to sit down in front of a camera.
Oh, well, that's okay. I can take it. If I have to wait for the good people, I'll wait. It's often the people who aren't interesting, that have nothing to say, that they're like, I can make it work. And I'm like, I know you want it to work, but your eagerness just made me not want to work with you.
Oh man, why are we so the same in that area? The people that just want so bad to be interviewed usually are the worst interviewees.
Well, you're not wrong. I'll give you that. So let's just get into it. Let's get into it. So let's start with how many siblings you have.
Okay. I'll start at the beginning. I was born at a very young age in a cabin I built with my own hands. And I'm just kidding.
Right? I could believe it too.
There's 13 of us. I have 8 brothers and 4 sisters. My mom and dad had 9 sons, 4 daughters. Go ahead and get the questions out of the way. We didn't have any twins. We're not Catholic. And we did have a TV.
Okay, so I'm okay with the TV thing. You're not Catholic. So what made your parents keep pumping them out?
Well, if the Bible talks about children as an inheritance and a heritage from the Lord, and my dad was always like, well, if somebody gave you, if great uncle so-and-so died and left you $6 million, would you only take $1 million of it or all of it? So he said, he said, the Lord says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of one's youth. So I don't know, when going into battle, I want as many arrows as I can have.
Yeah, roger that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that was he had a very warrior mentality in that area, in every area.
I appreciate that, but that terrifies me for your mom's sake.
Well, she looks like my older sister. We look like we're the same age, and she's just turned 60 at 13 natural born children. And the second half, most of them were all, from me on down, were all natural, just home birth. She's a beast.
That's insane.
She's who you need to have on here, not me.
Oh my God, please. I would have her on in a heartbeat and be like, okay, lady, you need to talk about this, because
she looks younger than most 40-year-old women. So Dad took good care of her.
Well, it sounds like it, because I'm telling you right now, the idea of having to do that like more than one time was that horrifically terrifies me. I mean, it's funny that you kind of brought up how she was like natural births and things like that and home births, because my husband and I actually were having this conversation yesterday, which is super random because he just got snipped and I'm super excited about it. So I'm telling everybody. So and he knows it too. I'm like, everybody needs to know. And we talked about this because we saw something on like passing in TV, and it was like about home births and things like that. And that terrified the absolute heck out of me. And the reason being is like, we had a situation where we could have lost Jack if he was a home birth, for sure. 100%. And to have as many home births as your mom had successfully is statistically insane to me.
It is. And the Lord blessed my parents a lot. Cause we had, my wife and I have 4 kids. And she wanted all natural births. She's a warrior beast, and the first ones were twins, and we tried that she wanted to have them at home, and I was like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to have them at the hospital? Like, are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah." So we had the midwife and everything, but towards the end they were breech and transverse, like wrong. So we had to have a C-section to get them out. And then our next son, she really wanted to have a natural birth, and so the doctors didn't love the idea of doing a VBAC, but she did, and had a home birth, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed. A lot better. I didn't handle the C-section very well at all, especially for somebody. Out? I did not pass out, but I do not like. I don't like that stuff. It was rough on me.
Okay, but like, was it? Oh my God, I love hearing this. You sound like my husband. It's like, it was rough on me. It was not rough on you. There was nothing cutting you.
Well, she was high as a kite. She was fine. They put this little blanket up, so I couldn't see what was going on down there, and she was just laying there looking at me, and I was holding her hand. I don't like, for somebody that's been around blood and gore, I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. And especially when it's on your wife. Well, they started like tugging on her. So she's like laying there getting like snatched on, and it sounded with all that like like they were just working, and it sounded like she was getting eaten by zombies on the other side of that sheet.
Makes sense.
And I was like, so I was just like trying to comfort myself by holding her hand.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they just like throw this like gel colored like lizard over the thing. It was like, "Here you go, Dad." And I was like, "Ah," and it still had this cord, like it was still attached. And I was like, "What?" And then all of a sudden another one, and I had them like one in each hand, and they were screaming, and like it was like having like little tiny like hairless panda bears that were covered in slime. And I was like, what
do I do with these?
And it was like dripping on her, and I was just like, "Why? This is not natural."
This wasn't the natural birth we spoke of.
Well, to be honest, the natural birth, I thought I was nervous going into that one. Well, I was like, if the hospital one was bad, natural ones are going to be like way worse. It wasn't the case. It was beautiful, quiet, nobody no bright lights. It was natural and beautiful. But that first one was rough. And then the fourth one was, about that one.
I know about that one. I don't know how comfortable you are talking about Little Lion, but I do want to talk about him because
anything I can, I'm an open book on him. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, you should be damn well proud of him. So Little Lion, for those who don't know, was born incredibly premature, and had a lot of issues. And I got the privilege of watching this little guy come in, via Instagram and stuff, but then so many other people did. But I got to watch and connect with you guys. Like, I get goosebumps when I talk about him, because to see how far he's come and what you knew was, the reality was the chances of him being a successful baby without any damages as a child, let alone, and the kid's thriving. He's a beast. Please tell me more about him.
Okay. So yeah, as you said, he was born 26 weeks, so about 3 months early. He was 2 pounds.
Not viable in Canada.
Yeah. Like this, they say even 10 years ago that he probably wouldn't have, technology is advanced so much to where, not long ago, that would have been a certain, he wouldn't have made it. Especially being a little boy, their lungs don't develop as quick, and they have a lot more trouble. It was emergency C-section within by the time I pulled up to the emergency room going 110, because actually it was 115 because the governor goes off in my truck at 115.
Don't lie.
It was less than 10 minutes and they had her open. and that was putting her in it. That was putting her in a chair, getting everybody like sped up on like, this is serious, getting her up, getting her like, and then as soon as I got her hooked to the monitor, his heart rate went from, I remember seeing it was like 170, and then it would drop, and then it dropped, and then it went to, and as soon as it stopped, the doctor.
Like, what triggered that? Like, why all of a sudden did you guys like go to the hospital? Did she start bleeding? Was there issues?
Yeah, she
okay.
Back in the summer, we thought we had lost him. She thought she'd miscarried. And so she had been bleeding. She had a certain, I don't remember the technical terms. This is where I'd sound like a terrible husband because I don't remember all the terrible.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to remember that. It's okay.
She had some conditions that she still works through. And so she bled a lot. Like the last 3 months she was in bed. Like she couldn't get out of bed. And I was taking care of the 3 kids. That's why I remember we were trying to connect then. I was like, I
can't life right now. I'm
just like trying to survive.
I hear you.
And then it happened again here so about a year later when she had another surgery. It was the same thing, only had 4 kids. But all that being said, the doctor saved my wife's life and his life by acting quickly, didn't skip a beat. She didn't get one drop of pain. She didn't get a Tylenol. Like they wiped her with a cotton swab to clean the wounds, and it zipped. And if you want a visual, it was like the end of Braveheart when he gets gutted and he screams freedom, and that's like it was like that. Only they pulled a baby out, no anesthesia, 0, and she was a beast.
That's something you see Grey's Anatomy level shit. Like that's that where you're locked in like an elevator.
I've seen some heroic things in my life, and that was those 2 women were the most heroic like moments of my life. Seeing my wife fight for her life and her son's life, and that doctor, she didn't care about anything but saving his life. Like paperwork, I don't know what protocol is on getting permission, but it was just like we had to do it right then. And now he's tomorrow will be the day, a year to the day that he got out of the NICU. He was in the hospital for 65 days.
Right.
So it's a big deal.
Watched you go back and forth. I watched you guys go through that and seeing all the photos. And I remember seeing the very first photo of you and your amazing wife sitting beside the NICU, and you guys were just holding her. And I just remember saying, like, I was born. Let's try that again. I was born and raised and shoved down my throat Catholic, in Catholic school and Catholic high school, the whole shebang. My dad was not. My mom's side of the family was. My mom she's not the way she used to be. But I have this belief, and it may not be the same as everybody's, but it's that there is a larger energy. There is a larger thing out there. I just don't call it God. I just call it there. I just know there's something way more powerful than me, and I just don't argue with it. I don't mess with it, and I don't argue with it, and I don't smite it. I just leave it alone. But I know that there are times where when you are in a situation, and if somebody is meant to be in this world, they'll be in this world. And so it seemed like watching you guys go through that, as horrific as it was, you had such a family unit and such a strength that I feel like you guys were able to, almost energetically, or whatever you want to call it, give him that strength by being with him the way you were and the way that your wife was, instead of, there's a lot of women who aren't allowed to stay in the NICU depending on the situation and their situation. And for some reason, I feel like it wouldn't have really mattered if your wife's stomach was still cut wide open. I feel like she would have been sitting in that chair with you.
Yeah. So that was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
Well, and that's part of that was part of the real big struggle for her was, she was in pretty rough shape. She had a bunch of blood transfusions, lost a lot of blood. So she had to stay in the hospital that she was operated on. We had to evacuate him to an hour away to where they had a NICU that could keep him alive. So immediately, she had her baby taken from her, and she's trying to heal, and she wants to breastfeed, and she's like not doing well, connect and all that stuff. For the first couple of weeks, I was the only thing that he knew was me and my voice. And so we bonded on a different level. And then our kids They may have had coronavirus at that point. I don't know, but it was some horrible disease.
Oh
That
God.
they were super sick, and it was Christmas time, and they were with my mom.
Yeah.
Um, and so they were with my mom. My wife was in a hospital alone Christmas. Beside
Yeah.
my mom was with her, but like, and then I was up there with him.
Yeah.
So the Christmas time's a big time for any family, but we're very big family that, and all of a sudden we're split up. And then, so she had a lot of, it was tough on her because she couldn't physically get out of, but
Mm-hmm.
the day she got out of the hospital, they told her, you need to go straight home, get in bed.
Yeah. Okay.
We drove straight to the hospital to where he was. And, I had friends that got us, I mean, just the Lord and friends and people like you, just all the support we had. It was amazing. We had people sending us, like we put her up in a hotel right outside the hospital. So she didn't have to sleep on a hospital bed, her little chair that I was sleeping in. So she would be there all day. I would take her at night to the hotel. And, so she stayed up there until we drove back and forth. And then after a while, we felt bad because the kids didn't have parents. So I would come home and stay a couple of days, and then it was fun. Glad that's over. It felt like a deployment. That whole deal was like, I still haven't processed through all what happened during that time.
Well, no, and I don't expect you to. It's been not that long. And I mean, but he has gone from being literally like this tiny little big to the
Yeah, he
kids.
fit in my hand.
Yeah, he's a beefcakes now. That's what we call my
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
Sorry, we call him Beefy.
That's a good name for him.
Yeah.
He's 20 something pounds, and he's already he's a hit. So my wife's a mother, so she wants to make sure he's healthy. So it takes him to physical therapy and occupational therapy and all the things that I'm like, he looks healthy to me, so I think he's fine. But she wants to make sure. So I let her do that, and but in doing so, I love it because we actually have data points how healthy he is, and like how just ahead of schedule he is. So the him being born early, like he's still going to be bigger than me, and I'm a pretty big dude. So
that's what's really funny to me. That's what's really funny because because of how premature he was. I mean, my son Jack was a month early, but they were like, he's not growing anymore. Like they would measure him and be like, you're just getting fatter, and he is staying the same. So he is cooked now and ready to come out. So we're just going to go in there and give you a quick little whoop, and we're going to see how quick that starts birth. And sure enough, 7 hours later, there he was.
It happened pretty quick.
Yeah. Whoa, man. We were 7 hours start to finish, 1 hour of pushing. That baby was here. And I went to a hospital because I'm a pussy, and I got no shame in that. Everyone's like, why don't you have a home birth? You live in British Columbia. You're a hippie. I'm like, well, here's the fun facts for you. My family has a bad history of home births and everybody's been a C-section. So it's like the chances of me, I don't want it if I don't need it, and I don't want to do it without freezing. So that. So we went, and I remember like just being in the hospital and it being as, a fairly simplistic birth, and the idea that wouldn't have been, I mean, towards the end there, it wasn't. He got stuck and his heart rate was dropping and they couldn't get him out. It was a whole thing. And I remember that being such a small amount of time, but it felt like it was, as soon as they said his heart rate was dropping, it's like time slows. And you can't, yeah, it's a weird, so the idea that little Lion came as early as he did and came into the world the way he did, I can't see him not being just a beast of a human. There's just no way.
I agree. He's already been through a lot at his little age, and he's just his personality. Yeah, I can't wait for you to meet him. He's pretty fun.
I know, I'm excited. I saw that picture of you and your wife. I think you guys were going out for dinner, and he was just sitting at your feet, and I'm like, he is thick already.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's impressive how thick he is. And I love seeing a chubby baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He doesn't miss many meals.
Well, I still don't know how you guys afford to feed all of your humans. You have a small, whatever you guys want to call, football team, soccer team, baseball, basketball, whatever you want to put them in. Or you have a small unit. You have a small deployable unit.
Oh, for sure.
Guys, just go in low.
I got a fire team of kids, just the kids, so we're good.
Not including the rest of your family and all of their kids too. Your siblings all have kids, right? Every single one of them?
No, no, not yet. Actually, only about not even half of us have kids.
You're literally going to overpopulate Missouri with your kids.
Miss, we'll go. We're from Mississippi, but we could
okay,
transplant.
Mississippi.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll spread. That's pretty big. Yeah.
Why did I think it was Missouri for a day? Maybe I was talking to Tim about something and he said Missouri about something, but for whatever reason. Oh no, because I was talking to Jake. I was talking to your brother, and he said it was Mississippi. But I think we were talking about the South and like Missouri and like North Carolina, South Carolina. And we were talking about just the Southern culture compared to like the Canadians.
Yeah. It's pretty slow paced around here. We like it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous of it. I went and did something recently where I'm like, and I moved to the woods and grow a beard now. This is the situation I'm in right now. I'm gonna grow a beard.
Well, come down and we'll grow one together, and we'll
right.
It'll be fun.
I feel like your wife wouldn't be friends with me if I just randomly, sporadically grew a beard one day.
She doesn't like my beard. She doesn't like my beard. I'm growing this against her favorite. She likes me like a baby.
Why? You look like
because she met me as a brand new boot Marine who had a high and tight and a shaved face, and that's what she thinks she wants me to look like the rest of my life. And
that's hard.
It is hard because I want to look like Grizzly Adams.
Well, I mean,
I've earned it.
I've earned this face, but you can be Grizzly Adams. You can look like Grizzly Adams as long as you shower.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
Keep your beard moisturized and all that.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. Like my husband's on this; he's growing his beard right now, and I will say, I mean, I met him when he was racing and clean cut, and he still had wild hair, but like the shaved face. And now I'm like, I actually like this. I'm into that. Let's do that. And he's like,
I'm hoping if I keep growing it, my wife will say the same. She'll one day flip a switch and be like, I like that.
Well, I mean, she does have like 4 other things to worry about all the time. I feel like the beard should be the least of the stressors right now in life.
Agree. That's why I hacked it back. It was really nice, and I had to hack it back. She's a sweetheart too. She'll never bring it up. I'm the one I'm like, do you like my beard? Do you like it? Do you like my beard?
What do you think of my beard? What do you think? Tell me about it.
She's like, it's not my favorite, but I love you anyway. Well, she's a sweetheart. It's me, not her.
It sounds like she's just one of those women that you can't find everybody has their faults, but like she's one of those ones that's like uber patient, and then also is like, even when you expect her to not be patient, like she blows you away with her like calmness.
With more calmness. Yep. She's pretty spectacular.
I'm so jealous of those women. I try to just.
I need some of that.
Anytime.
Well, her secret, and the more I've gotten to know her, almost 10 years, she's just always seething under the surface, and her calm is just like her. She's kind of like the Hulk. She's always angry.
It's right there. If
it's
you
like
just
right
push
there.
One more time.
But thankfully, I'm the only one that gets to see it, and I love that about her. She, I get to see that little wild Mustang side of her sometimes.
I know, but she keeps it in check for the kids. Like that takes some serious tolerance level.
Yeah. And we just got an inside dog, so that changed the whole. Like that adds a whole nother layer of having to.
Okay, hold on. Correct me did I hear that right? Inside dog?
Yes.
What does that mean? Aren't dogs all inside dogs?
Oh, honey, no. Oh. not in the South. Usually they're the barn dog. They're out with the horses and they're a tool. Well, we have one.
So like a herding
he's a family
dog.
Yeah. Well, this one is one like that sleeps like with us. And
what kind of dog?
I've never been. He's an English setter. He's a bird dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got him to kind of help calm me down.
It's probably good for you.
Yeah, he's really good. But we went from having 4 kids that poop and pee on the floor to now we have 5 kids that poop and pee on the floor.
I was just gonna say, you guys are asking for it.
Yesterday was a bad day. Yesterday we had diarrhea. Dog diarrhea all over the floor and carpet because we're snowed in right now. It's 9 degrees and we don't get that here in the South.
I know you don't. It's kind of funny for me to watch.
So we can't put the dog outside like we normally do during the day. So he's just pooping and peeing on everything. And then I got a call from her. I was across the road at my mom's, and she was like, "Hey, you need to get here." And I ran across thinking that like somebody
The
was
world
dead.
was ending.
Yeah, I thought like somebody had raided the house or something. I was kicking the door in, and then I got in, and there was diarrhea all over the carpet. We have hardwood, but there's a big carpet. Had diarrhea all over it. Baby lion was playing in the dog diarrhea. There's
makes
pee over.
sense.
I mean, it was just a huge debacle. So almost checked out that day.
Yeah, it's not that it's funny. It's not that it's funny. It's a little funny. It's only a little.
Well, I had to get 2 paper plates to scoop it up because I'm not a dog person. I've never like dogs have always been like a tool and not like a cuddly thing. So,
okay.
For me, so this is all new, and then I'm trying to like, how do you get diarrhea up off the floor? So I had paper plates and was like trying to scoop it, and I have real bad like I ended up puke like, and I threw up onto the dog. It was. I didn't mean to get off on all that. I'm sorry. I needed to get that off my chest.
I need you let it out. Jesse, let it out.
I needed to get that off. I'm sorry. That's been pent up all night.
The best part about all of this is I can picture you sitting there going, and then just vomiting more and just going, it's getting worse. It's getting so much worse.
That's exactly what happened. And it happened to me 2 weeks ago with a child she threw up everywhere. She's 8 and she didn't realize you run to the toilet to throw up.
Oh no.
I've never seen a mess worse than that. And I was just having flashbacks, like sitting there trying to get this up, puking myself. And I was like, this is my nightmare. I cannot imagine anything worse than what I am dealing with right now is vomit and poop. And then when you do it together, it's just
compounds. No, don't ever be sorry.
You're going to have to put explicit on this one because we just got graphic.
I don't even know if I legitimately were to sit here. Let's find out how many. If I sit here, you think yours is the only explicit? I don't think I have an episode. No, I got one episode. No, that's a lie. I have no episodes that aren't explicit. So
okay, good. All right.
Bro, you're right on track. You're tracking just fine with our listeners. Don't you worry.
Diarrhea and vomit stories. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't know if your listeners are going to be fans of this and the way that I cuss and how I live my life. So it's okay. You can pick and choose who you decide to share this episode with, Jesse.
I'm going to put it everywhere.
No, you're going to
put it everywhere. Yes, I am.
My highlights is going to be Jesse, the day that we found out the grown man who has a beard doesn't have a gag reflex. Or does.
No,
like a small child.
I do.
I does have one. I does have a gag reflex, and I cannot handle it.
You got me all flustered now talking. We're having a therapy session right now.
Welcome to my life. You think that you're the only person who doesn't? I don't know what it is. Strangers do this to me. I'll be sitting there, and I'm not on a bus because I don't do buses anymore. I did when I was in college, and then I realized no. And so I don't do buses anymore, but I'll be standing in line at like a grocery store or something else. And the talking point is always my son. So because he's a cute beast of a human and he's got this blonde, long curly hair, everyone's like, oh my God, he's so cute. And I'm like, thanks. Like, awesome. And it's like, hey, does he go to so-and-so school? I feel like I've seen him before. And I'm like, don't keep going. Like, don't continue this conversation. Stop. And then they keep going. And then they're like, what do you do? And then all of a sudden I know everything about them because I can't sit there. I cannot say no to someone when they're trying to talk to me. I know the value of someone that can listen and I know the value of therapy. So I'm like, tell me about your life. Like, how does that work out? Like, do you go to like a doctor? Like, what's your husband like? Oh, he's not. Oh, you're single. Oh, okay, cool. It's all making sense. Yeah. I'm not kidding. It's been like that since I've been younger, which is ironic because I never shut up. And so I find it hard that people even feel like they can open up to me, but somehow I'm able to like get in your weird parts and be like, tell me all your dark secrets. So,
well, I did not realize how much we have in common because I walk around with a sign on my forehead that says, come tell me your life story.
Oh yeah.
Don't even introduce yourself. Just tell me your life story. And that happens. it happens at the grocery store. It happens anywhere I go.
Right.
And as I've gotten older and more cynical, I used to think it was like I was good at, like it was I was good at that.
Like a blessing, like you were there
Like a
to
blessing,
listen.
like, yeah, like I'm a
I hear
asset,
you.
like this is a blessing, like I'm blessing it. And then the older and more cynical I've gotten, I'm like, please just leave me alone. I have too many
Too many things.
people, too many things. And then now I'm trying to fight that back and be like, no, it is a good thing. I just have to have boundaries and know when to do it. And so now I walk around with a sign on my forehead that says, please leave me alone.
Okay.
And they still come up. It doesn't work. They still come up.
I like that you have like a nice sign. Mine's a swear word. So, and it often starts with the letter C, depending on the day. If you ask any of my employees, I think I'm pretty good to everybody, but it's often like, just if you could just get the fuck out of my face real quick, that'd be super awesome.
Just for a second, please.
Just for a second. Yes. Just like just a minute. I just need someone to not look in my direction. Mm-hmm. But you can't say that to people.
Especially the person that's looking at you at that second. It's like,
yeah,
you're the reason I am this way right now. So please leave. Just walk away.
You know what? We're going through that with Jack, and that's something I've been trying to work on. And maybe you can give me some advice, Jess, because I feel like you have 4 kids and a lot of family members and have had a lot of siblings and seen a mother go through this. I have one, and I feel like my brain's exploding lately. And he is testing the absolute fuck out of me. And I went recently and did an incredible retreat to work on myself with a bunch of soft guys, and I'm still going to call him my redheaded Jason Bourne because he is. And so I went and talked with a bunch of these guys and did this whole like 4-day thing and like came back and like legitimately felt reborn and legitimately felt like I had moved past a lot of the things I needed to move past. Fun fact, when you come home, reality kicks again. And then you realize, oh shit, I have a 4-year-old who like yells all the time, and it gets angry at you because you're an angry person and you don't know how to not reciprocate that anger. And so I need to talk to your wife because I need to figure out how to be able to approach things a lot calmer with him, and with like, I love him, don't get me wrong, I will never not love that little fucking man. He is my heart and my soul. But why does he make me so angry sometimes? Why?
I can't answer that. It's amazing how your own offspring can make you, the thing you love the very most can also cause you the most amount of grief and anger and pain. And they're not even trying to. It's not even like they're being malicious or hateful or rude. It's just like, just the way they are sometimes. it just happens. I think it's the amount of love that you have for that person. Mm-hmm. Love and anger are very like similar, and every once in a while not every once, sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes, but I'm the same. My wife and I, we're both we try not to, I think there's a balance of trying to look perfect. I don't want to look perfect in front of my kids because I don't want them to have it like this. Some parents feel like they have to be like, they can't ever see me angry. They can't ever see me mess up because I want to be a good example, and I want to be a good example, but I also want them to know that we're human and we're going to mess up.
And so feelings are a thing that we have.
I don't want them to see me, put a hole through a wall. I don't want to see.
No, of course.
But if I slip up and say something or have a tone or whatever it is, that instead of just blowing it off or trying to hide it, I just address it. Like, hey, Dad gets angry sometimes, and it's not, I quote Bible scripture. I quote Bible verses to him. Like the Lord says, anger resteth in the bosom of a fool. And so when I'm angry like that and do something out of character, that's foolish. I should probably kind of ring that in, but I'm human. So, and that's the way that she is a lot better at being calm than I am.
When you hear, like I see, I keep bringing Jake up because he was, the one that I could lock down first, but I won't, I won't like rub that in your face or anything.
I'm sorry. I'm a dirty dog. Take me out back. And
that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, my dogs normally live in my house, but I don't. That's a different conversation.
You're a hippie, Anna.
Hey!
You just admitted to it, right?
I live on the west coast of Canada, which makes me, by definition and by default.
You're on the west coast of Canada. You're way over there. I was
Yeah.
thinking you were like right above me, north.
No, that's why when you were like, yo, you want to do Monday morning? I was like, no.
You
It's
said
a
anytime
holiday.
after 6:45. I said, I'll give her 15 minutes. How about 7 a.m.?
Yeah, I'll do 7. I could have done 6:45, bro. I would have done 6 for you. I would have done 5 for you. But that's the thing is I'm literally like, I'm as far west as you can go. So I'm California time. And so,
Yeah.
so when you were like time wise, I was like, he's going to say his time and I'm going to lose my shit. I'll do it, but I'm going to be tired and I'm going to swear a lot more and I'm going to need more coffee and I'm going to need a pee break because my body is not up yet because I'm not in the military anymore. And I don't get up at 4 because, well, that's a lie. I do get up at 4 because we're having an issue because my son won't stay in his fucking room. 3 o'clock.
It happens.
Jack, go back to bed. 4 o'clock. Jack, stay in your room. Jack, I'm going to take some stuff away. I don't care, Mom. I got no feelings. Test me, Mom. Let's see how hard and stubborn I am. 4:15, 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock. We do this all the way till 6 a.m. Just lately, he won't stay in his room. Just stay in your room. Just stay in your room or sleep or play in it. Just don't go downstairs, try to make food on the stove or chocolate milk. Don't do it. Because then he gets the jar of Nutella and then he gets a spoon and then I come down and he's eating it like it's ice cream. So now I have to lock the Nutella away. See, this is therapy for me too, bro. You see it? You feel it?
Go ahead. Let it out. Let it out. Just
I know.
keep rolling.
I don't know what to do because you can't lock the freaking room. We got him this clock. It's called the Grow clock. It's supposed to like turn from blue with the stars to then the yellow in the morning. So he's like, I know what time to get out of bed. And then I was like, buddy, why aren't you staying in your room? I just turned the clock off. Okay, you're not supposed to be able to know how to figure that out. The whole clock is supposed to be. So now I got to call the manufacturers and be like, your product's shit. We need to have a conversation about you guys not pre-planning while putting the buttons on the front. So then we did a bunch of reading and the Googling and talking to the friends. And they're like, put a clock in there with a big number. I'm like, the bro he can read. I know he knows what clocks are. And so we put a 6. When the clock says 6 and the sticker says 6, like the sticker stays 6 and the clock says 6, that's when you get out of your room. Okay. He goes to me, ready? This is his response. Hey, Jack, why'd you get out of your room? I turned my clock around so I didn't have to see it.
I like Jack.
Yeah. My mom says to me, my mom's visiting right now for a month and thank God because, and she says, this is just payback, honey. Oh, honey, you were just as bad. Oh, honey, you have no idea. And I'm like, but he's a boy. Why am I still going through this? I'm a girl. I wasn't like that. You're ruining this for me. She goes, oh, if he's bad now, at least he'll be fine as a teenager. And I feel like she's setting me up for failure with that comment.
I was about to say, that sounds terrifying. That sounds like she's just having an inside joke for the next 10 years.
I feel like she is, and I feel like I'm not in on it, and I'm not.
She's giving you that false hope, and then all of a sudden she's gonna be like, "Ha, you fell for it."
Oh yeah, and it's not just her; it's my dad too. Because here's the key: these parents of mine are long haul truck drivers, so they listen to these podcasts when they're driving all around, and they sit there.
Mom is listening right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And she's going to be laughing her ass off. I remember when you did this. I remember when you did that. This is just payback. I told you. And I'm going to live with that for the rest of my life. And then they all wonder why we didn't have more kids. This is not alcohol, but it needs Bailey's at this point. I am telling you, he is the best. This is probably a really good segue. Because I know you served as well. And I don't know if it's just me because there's not as many women who did the type of job I did that are out now that have kids. So in Canada and the US, we have a very different way of how we run women in the military. I mean, up until fairly recently. What was the year women were allowed to start doing combat arms trades with you guys? It was recent, right?
Yeah, it wasn't long ago. I don't remember the year, but
yeah. It wasn't that long ago. I'm not losing track of time here, I don't think.
No, it was in the last, 6-8 years, I think.
Yeah, that's fairly recent in my opinion. So when
it's been, it was I had been in a while before it was a thing.
Did you have to work with women?
Nope. Never in the combat arms area.
Really?
No, it was always, the only ones I ever worked with were through,
Medics.
Medics or admin or supply or something like that. But it was never more than just, hey, thanks, bye, thanks.
You're not like, hey, Kels, we're gonna kick this door open real quick. If you just want to hop up front, you should give that a go.
Yeah. No, it didn't have that. We did on our last deployment. We were on a little cop, and we didn't eat well, and but the last little bit, it was just Marines. We just had Marines, but they sent us some Army cooks, and two of them didn't do a great job. But then they sent a female, and she was legit. She like had candles and did everything and made it. She
had candles and did everything.
We went from eating like MREs to when it was dinner time, she would like run us through there, and we had like little signs of the day with quotes, and she had music playing. And I was like, she was mom. Like
just bow down.
Oh yeah. So I have great experience with females in the military.
Okay, well that's good. Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
She took really good care of us.
Well, that's what it comes down to. It's when you guys served, you guys didn't have that. So it's hard for me, I find, to connect to women who also served, because very, very rarely, unless they're Canadian, there is no military women combat arms. Same with the British and all of that. And so when I'm talking to people and I'm trying to ask them questions and advice about maybe how to handle my anger as a mom, because it's not anything he's doing. And I don't know how to, do you know what I'm trying to say here? It's like, because there's a lot of, you have kids and you get it, but that's a trip. That's something I need to work on. I'm aware of it, but it is something that I'm struggling with.
Well, I am very much working on that the past 2 years. So I'm probably not the one to listen to, and it's not just my kids, it's everyday life. Something will happen, and I'll 2 days ago, I get home. We live out in the sticks. We're on the way home from church. It was Valentine's Day. So we're going to go get Mexican and take it home and eat it. So I did that for my wife. That was super romantic like that.
I saw your pictures. It was stupid cute.
Well, by the time we got home, we live on a dead end road. And there was like, as we were driving, all these, fire trucks and cop cars, and like just like a whole squad was hitting our road. And I got to our road, and there was like 15 cars that were like volunteer firemen at the end of our road, and I couldn't get through, and they're like had it blocked off, and I automatically went straight Marine Corps mode. I was like, nope, you're not blocking my road.
Fuck out.
I was like, yep. And even Lexi could tell, because she like reached over and started like trying to calm me down, because I was like, I just came from church, and now like I'm getting raided. And so I went, and then they kept. Well, we live on a dead end road, and my family owns I own half of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And my family, so it's like, whose house is burning because it's freezing cold. So somebody's house caught on fire. Like, what's happening? And then they turned down my driveway, and I was like, okay, it's my house or the rental properties I own. And then they went down. It was a little crackhead house, which I was glad that was that, not something else. But then I get out, and then all these volunteer firemen are like swarming my yard. So I went from just nice Sunday afternoon drive to all of a sudden I have a bunch of privates running around in my yard acting like they're running the scene. And I was so angry. And I'm trying not to take it out on them because they're just trying to do their job. But I'm taking it as like, what are you doing in my yard, private? Like, why are you doing that? And and then I want to, like, the rest of the day, I'm just like inside, just angry and mad and wanting to take it out on the dog and anybody. But my biggest fear is to take it out on my wife or my kids. That's my biggest. I don't want that aggression that just gets pinged and set off. And the weirdest little things will set it off. And then like you have all that, it triggers everything that you've suppressed for years, just all of a sudden starts bubbling up. And the more you work on it, the more it conjures up that stuff when it does trigger. And then you got to figure out, you can't stuff it back down because that's just horribly damaging, but you can't take it out on your wife, your husband or your kids in your case, because that's damaging to them.
Exactly.
And that's, it goes back to the old thing, hurting people hurt people. Like if you're hurting and you're trying to get through something, you're going to hurt people if you're not careful. You got to figure that. I'm still trying to figure out, how do I let it out and not suppress it and make it hurt, like turn into an ulcer or cancer in my stomach.
Yeah.
But also not damage my kids. So.
I know, it's a freaking balance. I mean, that's the thing. They never do anything to make you that angry? Like the proportionate, it's a disproportionate response often. And then it's that afterward, it's like, shit, I didn't mean to do that. And it's out now and I can't shove it back in my mouth.
It's tough. And being around little kids because they're sponges and they absorb everything. And we're working through trying to become humans again, still. I mean, how long have you been out?
Oh my God. I've been out since 2011. Yeah. 11 was
a while.
Shush, long enough. I know. I was barely in at this point. That it just feels like a different.
I didn't realize you were old enough to be my mom, but I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was.
Oh, we're gonna fight to the death when I come to visit. When I can come back to Canada without being illegally held by the Gestapo, I will come visit. Did you hear about that?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. I don't want to go. Yes, tell me about this.
I'm gonna tell you about this because you guys have your own bag of tricks, and I always give you guys shit for stuff. So I'm gonna throw this out. So our super amazing prime minister who loves to do brown face on his regular time, he decided that he was going to institute. I don't know if it was him or his policy people or the idiots that are running it. He decided to institute a new clause. This is a kicker. Where when you come into Canada, if you want to come in, before it was like you just needed, at first it was like you can come in and you just have to quarantine for 14 days. And we're like, okay, we can live kind of with this, because it's the Call Me Starter Pack. So we're going to take it slow by slow and spoon feed us this. And so we're like, we'll take this. And then it was like, you have to wear masks everywhere you go. And we're like, okay, well, now you can't spoon feed me. You got to whap me over the head with it. So it's like, okay, I'll take that. And then
it's a little bit at a time. That's never all at once.
Yeah, it's never all at once. It's a trickle-down effect. Isn't that how Mao made it work? And then that's how everybody else makes it work. So people are going to be listening to this going, Kelsi, are you fucking kidding me? You goddamn American. I said, no, this is just when you know and you've seen this in other countries and you've physically witnessed it, it's too obvious to not point out.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So
thank you. I like you even more now.
Well, and so you should never have not liked me. I don't know how besides my cursing, I feel like we are peas and pods. Get it?
Yes. Peas and pods.
Exactly. So now they did this thing. So I went down to Washington when I did this retreat with an incredible charity called Heroic Hearts. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's you need to reach out. I will tell you that right now. We'll talk about this later. But Sweet. It's called Heroic Hearts, and it's run by a ranger, Jesse Gould, I think is his last name. And anyway, I got the privilege to go down with all these special operators and do this in Washington, but that required me to leave my country. Not leave my country, sorry, get on a plane and fly exactly 1 hour away. And or 2.5 hours if they would have let me drive across the border, but that's a whole thing. So their new thing was you need a negative COVID test 72 hours before you come back to your country. Well, I was leaving for like 80 hours. So I had to land, get off the plane, have one of the guys pick me up and take me to the hospital and get me tested, and then go and do what I'm going to do because I was leaving on the Monday and I got there on the Friday. So, okay. I had COVID twice now. I had it. I was a super spreader. I was one of the ones who brought it from China last year in January. I was in China from the 5th to the 10th. And on the 10th is when they closed China down. And that's when we got out.
You're the one we need to blame.
Yeah, you need to blame me. And I got deathly sick that time. Okay. Like in bed, couldn't move. The only time I had been up on bed rest like that was when I got my boobs done. And then that's it. That's the only situation. Your wife, we got to talk about it because getting those fixed is a game changer. So after you nurse, and I can imagine 4, but like mine were like eggs nailed to a tree and I had 1. So like we need to have a conversation about that shit. So I got that done. And that's the only time I'd been in bed, like really, truly. And I went to the hospital and they said, where were you? And this was before we knew what COVID was. And I said, I was in China. And she goes, where? And I was like, Shenzhen and Guangzhou. And I was traveling around.
Wuhan. I was in Wuhan in the marketplace.
I was in 4 hours from Wuhan, but I was on all the buses and all the planes and all the trains. So I guarantee, like, come on. So in bed and he goes, you've got severe pneumonia. we're going to give you like an antibiotic for it. And I was like, well, that's not how that works, but well, fucking let's just shove it in my face, see if it works. So, and then I had a little bit of, little lung issues after, but it was just like, oh, it's because you're out of shape. Get your ass back on the bike. It's not because of COVID. You're fine because COVID wasn't a thing. And then I get it again in October last year because my father-in-law somehow I don't know, he went and got the antibody test, freaked everybody out. And then next thing you know, I couldn't smell or taste anything, but I was fine. I went to work because I I wasn't any issues, perfectly fine, still loud, still aggressive, nothing changed. And then I lose my taste and smell. So I go down to Washington, they test me. I'm going through the weekend. I'm doing all these ceremonies. Everything's going great. I'm finally being accepted by military people for the first time because my unit was pieces of shit. And then I get a call on the Sunday from the clinic. And me and you, I don't have insurance. I'm Canadian. What do I need that for? She goes, honey, she goes, hey, honey. I said, hi, dear. She goes, have you checked your test results yet? And I was like, no. Why? She's like, you need to check your test results if you want to go home. I was like, can you just tell me over the phone? She's like, no. I was like, did I fucking test positive? She goes, honey, I got to call you back. Sure enough, I had a false positive because I had it 2 months before, and Washington is cycle counting there. So when they do your test, they run it through cycles, right? And they run it so long that even if you don't have it in your system, it can detect when it was in your system. I think it's up to 6 months prior. So this is what the hospital told me. So if somebody wants to be like, that's not how it works, don't say things that you don't know are true. But I'm just going off of literally what I was told.
That was a very good representation of those people.
Well, that's how
those
it feels.
Types of people.
Karens. Yep. We're going to call them Karens today.
Yep. Karens and Conrads.
Oh, Conrads. Is that what we call guys?
That's what I just did.
Oh,
yeah,
well, you need trademark.
Unless your husband's name's Conrad, then I apologize.
Well, then you shouldn't apologize. That's his own fault. He has the power.
It shouldn't have been Conrad.
It shouldn't have been a Conrad.
I feel bad for nice Karens this time in this swath of history. If your name is Karen, I feel bad for you if you're a good person.
One of the nicest people I know is named Karen, and she's our banker, and she runs part of the bank, and her name's Karen, and I love her, and she makes my life easy. But I feel for her because her name is Karen. No fault of her own. And so I get this, and they're like, you're gonna have to come in and get blood work done, because we're pretty sure it's a false positive based on you having it, but we need to prove that you have the antibodies. So why don't you just stop what you're doing, get in a vehicle and drive somewhere, which not a good idea. I'll tell you what I was doing after. And go and walk into a very bright, lit, intense, sterile unit, and then let them stab you with a needle, and then pay out of your pocket for it.
Yep.
Because I'm Canadian. And so
take your blood. Yep.
Take my blood, and we do that. And of course, comes back. She lets me leave. This is how much the doctor believed my story about having it. She lets me leave with a signed letter with her name on it saying it's a false positive. So I go the next day to get on the airport. Sure enough, I have the test proving it's a false positive. I had the antibodies, which means I couldn't have it. Like, I have it in my system from when I had it, but I couldn't have it actively right then and there. I go to get on the plane. Delta goes, because the Canadian government says it's a positive or a negative, they don't believe in false positives, which is bullshit because that's medically proven they happen. We can't let you on the plane. I was like, cool. I'm stuck in Seattle. What the fuck do I do here? And so I call my buddies, and they're like, well, come pick. I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm a big girl. I'm gonna get it. So I get in an Uber from Seattle to Blaine. Okay, that's 2.5 hours in an Uber. And I get to the border, and I call the consulate of Canada. Hi, I'm stuck in another country. I'd like to get the fuck home. Help me. And then she goes, I want you to just listen really quietly to what I'm telling you. As of today, you can walk across the border with no negative COVID test. Can you get yourself to the border? I said, I live on the border. I can see my house from America. Like, no problem. So I'm like, Uber, let's do it. So this guy's like, where are we going? I was like, Canada. He's like, oh, you're fucking serious. And I was like, it's what the Uber thing says, and you accepted it. So get to stepping. So
you just said destination Canada.
I did. I said Canadian border. And he's like, oh, you're serious? I said, yeah. So he gets me up there. I walk across. She goes, have you been in contact with anybody with COVID 14 days? I'm like, nope. Positive test right in my pocket. And then she goes, are you going to quarantine? I said, yeah. I could have literally walked across the field, hopped the ditch, because it's a ditch, and then walked to my house. She's like, no, we're going to make it complicated. You're going to walk along the freeway like a homeless person, and then you're going to walk the 6 kilometers to your house. And I was like,
from the road, on the road, you couldn't cross. You couldn't like,
yeah, no, they wouldn't let me. No, they wouldn't let me. So I'm like, okay, cool.
What is that about?
Oh, there's so many things, Jesse, and we will get into. So many things. So I get there and they're like, you got to quarantine for 14 days. So I quarantine. So I got to fill every day. I got to fill out this form. The government emails me saying, I don't have symptoms. Click the button, move on. No big deal. The one day I leave the house, which I'm allowed to do if I'm going for a run or a walk, I get a call from the government 3 times.
On my
while
you weren't at the house. Oh, you weren't at the house.
Because this was with me. So I was like, well, fuck this
shit. So they saw that you left and they called you?
Mm-hmm. I'm lucky they didn't show up at my door. They show up at your door. Bro, they show up at your door. They slap you with $1,000 fine. They threaten you with 3 years in prison and up to $1 million worth of fine. That's what it was when I left and got home. Now it's even worse. They don't trust you to quarantine. So if I want to go visit you guys and hang out, say for a week or do whatever I want to do down there, and I come back up, I have to go to a hotel for 3 days, pay for a PCR test, pay for 3 days in a hotel while I'm waiting for the results. If the results say positive, they physically detain you illegally to a facility without your rights or permission and hold you there for 14 days.
How
what do you say about that, Jesse? How do you feel about that? Let's talk about that.
Well, and if we talk about that, people will call us conspiracy theorists. But it's like, what's the next step? It doesn't get better it doesn't get better from there. How do you go back while still just saying, oh no, that's fine, that's just normal? You don't go back from that unless you say, no, we're not doing that. There's no way for it.
People. Like they're straight up taking people because they don't trust them to quarantine. Like whatever the fuck not my prime minister, because he runs the country or thinks he does. The person who runs my province, like I should know this shit, but that's how much I hate my own politics. I only know your politics and I know them minimal.
And I hate ours just as much probably as you hate yours. So.
Exactly. So like, I don't even know, like this is really bad. And then people are going to be like, you're embarrassing. Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't even know when we vote. No clue. All I know is I've got this person running the province, so the state I live in, John something Horgan. He's on the news, acting like a tough guy, goes, if you're going to come to Canada, you better, I don't know why I've got your accent going here. I feel like it's
about to say, is he a redneck from Mississippi or what?
He might be. And he goes, if you're going to come to Canada and you're not going to quarantine, I'm going to bring the hammer down on you. I said, I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say? You're going to bring the hammer down on people that come to our country? Who are you? You'll let everybody else in without paperwork, but our own countrymen who want to come back and go to their house and quarantine in it where they have the right to do, we can't do. Most of Canada is still shut down. East Coast of Canada, above New York, Ontario, that shit has been locked down so bad. I got girlfriends of mine, one of my best girlfriends, Lisa, calling me, trying to homeschool her kids, work 2 jobs while her husband's trying to start a new job. And she's calling me on her walks, hysterically crying. I've never heard people struggle with depression and suicidal thoughts and mental health issues than I've ever seen this. And they are not lowering any of the restrictions. They don't give a shit. We have the highest overdose rate right now in North America. In like BC, where I live, we have one of the highest suicide rates. Like amazing person I got the chance to meet, Jen and Tom. He was a Delta operator. He posted something on All Secure, their charity foundation, and it was like, we haven't had a death in over a year overseas in combat related death, but we've had. And then he lists the statistics of suicides in that year, and nobody's paying attention to that. And so I take. Sorry,
that makes me want to puke. No, yeah. I'm just saying I'm kind of speechless right now because I have a lot to say, but
You're allowed to speak freely here,
it's
babe. You're safe.
disturbing. It's disturbing how much our society today in both of our countries are just like, we're all disgruntled and we're all upset about what's going on, but there's very few people that have the guts to actually say something and do something different.
It's true.
And
it scares me.
And it starts with the smallest little, and I'll get drug over the coals for it, but like
who cares?
The whole mask thing. As soon as this thing started, I was like, something smells fishy. This just doesn't seem normal for it to be. It's a real sickness. It's real, all that stuff.
It's a flu, though. It's a
flu. And if you use common sense, don't go out when you're sick. And if you don't want to go get sick,
or
don't
if you're
go out.
if you're immune suppressant, if you have an underlying condition, don't go outside.
And that's the part of being a free, being free human beings. We should be able to be free to take care of ourselves and take care of others and
like an adult.
make those decisions. Yep. And so the whole mask thing, it's like, it would start small. That it always makes a little bit of sense. Like, I get
always makes a tiny bit of sense.
And then it starts taking a little bit of time, taking away your freedoms, all right, now you cannot physically go into a store without a mask on. I do it where we're at. We've opened up a lot and we do it, but it's still like you're looked at as like you're a bad person. And you see, like, I've seen pregnant women wearing double masks, cutting off oxygen to their beautiful little baby that's growing inside of them.
Because they don't get it.
And it's like, this is not normal. It's not healthy. That doesn't, because you don't want to get something that normally is just a bad cold or a flu. Sometimes it gets really bad. I'm not saying it's not a real deal.
Oh no, it can kill people straight up. I remember the first time I had it. Yeah.
I've lost friends to it. I had it. Like, it's not fun, but
no,
I've also had a lot of not other fun sicknesses. And to do what we're doing to people's mental health and do what we're doing to our society as a whole to make, like, this is the new normal. This can't be the new normal. There's no getting this back. Yeah.
No,
and so it starts with people like us talking about it and actually doing something about it. And that's, for me, I have my own little protocols that I do for my own little rebellion against I'm super thoughtful to other people. I'm super nice. I'm super respectful with my space and all that stuff, but I'm not going to put my family in a situation to where the government's telling me how to run my family. I just can't do that.
Are your schools open?
Yes.
Okay. Do the kids have to wear masks in class?
I don't know. I know that's a good question. I don't know. I would assume probably they're probably supposed to. We homeschool, so we were homeschooling before the COVID. That's
okay.
We've already done that. So
you were homeschooled. You were homeschooled too, right?
I was homeschooled. Yeah. Yep. All of us were, and I love it. It gives us a lot of freedom to do what we need to do, learn what we need to learn, and not have the government telling us what to learn. That sounds so conspiracy theorist.
No, it's
but that's
not.
The way
it's
I
not. It's
I want to raise my own family, and not. I feel like if I send my kids off, I'm doing more time when I'm with them, unteaching them things that they're learning from other little snotty-nosed kids than I am actually teaching them what they need to know. And so they have our family. We have we do all kind of social thing. Like, our kids have more culture than most kids that go to school.
I was just going to say that
they get people from all over the world. They and we get to travel. They get to see places that other kids don't get to because they're in school. So I love it. That's the way we've done it before the COVID happened. So it really didn't change our dynamic. Besides, it cut a lot of my work out because, LA and New York and all the big cities are shut down. So I had to figure out some other avenues of work. But besides that, our everyday life didn't really change.
I'm glad to hear that. And I know with the schools, like, for example, like, I knew you guys were home. I knew the kids were homeschooled, but again, you guys literally live on a street where there's more children than most people have in, like, their classrooms if they're from rural areas. I mean, I grew up in the woods, in 17 acres of woods, and I chopped wood, and that's how we heated our house. And we cut and split, and we piled, and we did the whole thing. My brother raced motocross very seriously up until he was almost early 20s. So we were on dirt bikes, and, I used to fight. I used to be I'd consider a professional fighter. I fought Taekwondo since I was 4 years old, and my profession was to kick people in the face, and I loved the hell out of it. So I kind of had that similar, we weren't homeschooled, but it was that idea that if they have to be out of school for something, they're going to be out of school for something. I used to go with my dad on the road for 2 weeks at a time, and I got to see the entire United States. Just because my dad and mom were truck drivers. And so I feel like, I wasn't homeschooled. I got kind of best of both worlds, if you want to call it that. I got that socialization I might not have got because I lived out in a rural area, but I also got the rural area-ness of growing up in the woods and just get the fuck outside. I don't want to see you until the sun goes down kind of situation. Don't get eaten by anything and you'll be all right. And so I appreciate the way you raise your family, and I appreciate that there's always something to be said, and jokes to be made with homeschooled kids. And I think it's very different now. For example, like Jack goes to an outdoor preschool. So he is outside, rain, sleet, snow. I don't give a shit. As long as the trees aren't falling, he's outside. He's in the woods. He feeds horses and chickens and cows and bunnies. They learn how to build fires and forage in the woods if he ever gets lost. Like, this kid is dialed. Like, Grandma, pouring rain yesterday. Grandma, let's go outside and play. She's like, buddy, it's raining. He's like, so? Like, I have a video of him rolling snowballs bare hand in the pouring rain. Be like, come play, mommy. No, you sociopath. I don't want to. It's cold. I don't want to play. Go away with that. Get your snowballs out of here. Put some gloves on, you psycho. So I know the value of being outside. I know the value of being raised that way. And I understand it a lot more than most would. But I do, obviously, as your kids are never going to have that awkward socialization because they're already so socialized within their communities and how you raise them. And it seems like you and your family, especially the military side, have so many different connections. Like your kids don't know it, but they have anti-Canuck Canadian that loves them so much already. Yep. And you've always got a place up here, but that's what I mean is you guys have done a really good job of showing them that being homeschooled doesn't mean you have to be a complete psychopath.
Oh, no.
Statistically you've got 4. So one out of, one,
it could happen.
I know, but like, it's only one. It's like,
well, there's 13 of us and I'm probably the psychopath. I just don't realize it, but the rest of them are normal.
Well, I mean,
very successful members of society.
Well, you haven't found any weird bodies buried anywhere. And if you have, it's you doing it. So you're hiding them well.
Yep.
I'm just saying. You're like, yep.
Let's go to something else real quick. Making me feel comfortable. Sweating a little bit.
I'm sweating. I'm getting stressy.
How did you know?
I know everything, Jesse. I know all. That's the difference. I can read you, Jesse. I've broken you down. I will break you. All of a sudden I'm Russian. I feel like every time I say something like that to someone, for whatever the reason, the tone or accent that comes out is Russian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
you start
why.
Talking about burying bodies and getting rid of evidence is right. Russian's a good one to go to.
Russian's a fucking fantastic one, that or Chinese, but I also have factories over there, so I'm gonna shut my big old mouth on that.
Probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about this. So when you guys travel and things like that, do you, especially right now, do you guys force the kids to put masks on, or do you put a mask on if you have to travel outside of your state?
I'm
gonna travel outside your state.
Oh, I do. Yeah,
okay.
I've been in 2020. I went to it was over 40 states.
Oh.
But I quit flying because I don't like doing the whole. I drove everywhere.
Did you really?
Okay. Yeah, I did. Drove everywhere. And no, I didn't. The only time I've worn masks is in medical situations or funerals. I went to a lot of funerals. And I don't want to be disrespectful and cause some kind of scene because I'm. So I'll do that in situations like that. I'll wear it, but just going to the gas stations, going all over the country, like I'm not sick and I don't do it. The kids, absolutely, I'm not going to make them wear a mask. I think that's horrible for their psychological well-being. I think it is. I disagree with you. The thing that's changed, we don't go to town a lot. Like I'll take them into certain stores that I know are friendly to us.
Yeah.
To people like me that are weirdos. I'll take them in there and let them get out and see things. But we don't, used to, we'd go do fun stuff in town. We'd go, go to movies and all that stuff. But now it's just like, we're we're living more. We're living more and doing less because I don't think they need to have to worry about what I worry about.
Kids aren't.
I don't want them to, because they're not wearing a mask, getting yelled at by a grown adult and then them being like, what's going on?
What did I do wrong?
They're very aware of the virus. They're aware of everything, but I don't want that to be such a big part of their childhood. I don't think, I hope that we can get past this and this isn't a thing. This isn't a new normal. So I don't want to screw up with their little heads by making them wear a mask and acting all weird. And so I just choose to keep them from getting into those situations. So we live out to where we can, they have plenty of opportunities to do cool stuff. We just don't go into town where there's a lot of people right now are just being weird. Our society is everybody's terrified. Everybody is afraid they're terrified of looking like they're a super spreader or being yelled at and I just don't want to put my kids in that situation. So we haven't done a lot of traveling besides to actual destinations with the kids. Now I go all over for work, but
we're doing that with Jack, because he's in an outdoor preschool. Their mindset is obviously more like-minded than with ours. And that whole idea, and it's really great, the school he's in, because the person who owns it, I asked her that when I went to look at it, and she's like, look, I'm not doing it. And I give my teachers the option. They're outside. If they want to wear it, I'm not going to say anything to them. Yep. But when they say good morning to those kids every morning, and you get on their level, you take your freaking mask off and you look them in the face so they know who you are and who's under that. And if the teachers have a reason to wear it, if they're ill or they know that they get sick really easy, or they have a grandmother that lives in their house, I can respect that. I can respect that for people. Because if you're going to be around someone who is immune suppressant, has issues, has cancer, who's going through chemo, I have all the respect in the world for that. But if you're 30 years old and you're fine and you're not around anybody who's around anybody, or you're doing those things, my husband made a homemade mask and he made it perforated. It looks like a mask, but it's not, because it's ridiculous. And if you want to wear a mask, then you may wear your mask. You shouldn't care what I'm doing. If it's so protecting for you and it's doing such a great job, then you shouldn't care if I'm wearing one or not. If you're wearing one, you should be protected. But that's not how these things work. And so.
Well, that's the thing. There's no logic in what's going on. If it's so bad, we would have hazard containers. We would have certain masks that you had to wear. It wouldn't be just anything. Just pull your shirt up and I'll ring you up.
It'd be N95s if it was that bad.
Yeah. And then people had their mask down like this on their chin, saying, "Hey, where's your mask at?" Well, I mean, that in my head, that just doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. Walk into a restaurant and then they're like, have a mask on, and then you can sit at that table 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And then I can take it off. Oh yeah. And then I can cough and sneeze and do whatever I need to do.
No problem.
Let it fine.
In the air. Yeah.
But so it's turned into this strange where common sense is not a common virtue, and it's sad to me. It really is sad. And so I do my own little part everywhere I go to try to be nice. I'm never abrasive. When I walk in, and very few people talk to me about me.
Because you're huge. Nobody wants to. I'm huge. You.
I wear a big cowboy hat and I walk with a purpose. And so if I see a Karen looking at me, first thing I do is I look at her real big and I smile huge and I say, "How are you today?" And I engage. And they don't have the guts to be like, they weren't expecting that. Exactly. So I do it with kindness. I've seen people, they get offended. They're like, "Ain't nobody gonna make me wear a mask." Nobody wants to be doing this. Everybody wants to go back to normal. A lot of people have to enforce it or they lose their job. So I want to respect them. I want to respect them, but at the same time, I'm not gonna not do my little bit of William Wallace walking around doing my freedom thing.
I appreciate the hell out of that, though. I mean, my favorite thing to do is I'm such a bad person. I can hear myself saying this right now. I've been in situations where we'll sit down at a restaurant or whatever, and we've got the plexi up. But my favorite thing is the waitress will come over and we'll be talking or whatever. And she's obviously wearing a mask and I'm not, because we're sitting and, apparently that's fine.
It changes everything. If you're stand, it's so much more contagious than if you sit.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And so she will be chatting and she'll be like, are you like, some people will get real concerned. Like they'll ask you to keep it on in between bites and put it back over your mouth. And so my favorite thing is to do is like, when they come up and be like, they're like, are you finished? I'm like, yes. But I also took the courtesy of licking that for you in case you wanted it. And then I watched them pick it up with such fucking fear.
You've done that? I'm so proud of you.
If somebody makes me uncomfortable, I'll be like, I'll lick it. Would you prefer I lick it? Like, did you wash your hands? I was like, no, but I'll lick it. Like, I don't care. Like, if you're that afraid that when I'm making a joke that you cringe inside like that, like I get there's people, but also like get over yourselves a little bit. Like if I'm willing to lick something and then like
that you just touched, then
like,
let's just be normal. Let's just be normal.
Let's just be friends. Can we be friends already? If we're friends or we're from the same circle, as long as we're from the same bubble, we can totally hang out and I can lick your face all day. I mean, you can ask my people what I do, but that's the least of their worries.
Getting licked on the face every day?
Yeah. It depends.
Sounds like a great work environment.
Sometimes they get bent over things. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on the day. They're all women. They all know what they got when they came in here. They all sign NDAs. Come at me, bro. Like, I'm gonna do some shit. It's my office. But that's serious. It's a really sad thing to watch happen. And I can respect it for those that are ill, and I can respect it for those that are immune suppressant. But I really struggle with this whole thing. And I think it builds up a lot of anger and a lot of fear. And what I hate the most, and I don't know if you guys have this, but like if you watch any sort of TV right now, our Health Canada has these really awesome commercials, and it's like
propaganda pieces.
Yeah, they're my favorite. The subliminal messaging, and it'll be like a girl getting on the bus, and she puts her mask on. She's like, and this is my favorite. It's just how she goes, and she smiles, and she goes, "Remember, when you put your mask on today, it's so that we can do this." And then it's got concerts with nobody wearing masks, and like sitting down for dinner with no mask. And remember, when you wash your hands, it's so that one day we can all do this. And it's like shaking hands with people again and going out. And I'm like, no, this is so wrong. No, I get so mad. Jesse, my brain.
I know. And that's why I think that it starts with the individual. The freedom of the individual is what I went to war for.
Right.
Not for my country. I did. That sounds bad, but for real, is the individual that is the minority of minority is the human individual.
Correct.
And their freedom to do what they need to do.
Correct.
As long as they're not harming others.
Correct.
And should be what we all, that should be what we're doing, is protecting the individual's right. But we're not doing that. So that's what I do every day when I go out, is I'm very polite. If they ask me to leave, if they're like, I will not serve you. I was at a coffee shop the other day and they were like, hey, sorry, I can't serve you unless you put a mask on. I was like, I don't have a mask.
Yeah.
And I was being respectful, and I was just like, dang it, I really love y'all's coffee. What can I do to get a cup of coffee? Like, honestly, I'm standing here. Like, what do you need? And they're like, well, we just can't serve you unless you put a mask, or just pull your shirt up over your face. I was like, man, I appreciate that, but I'm not doing that. He was like, well, you can go outside and order through the window. I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that.
Yeah.
He was like, and then you can come sit down inside. I was like, and I just paused and I looked at him, and I was like, so I can go order. Well, I wanted his brain to do that. So I just stared at him and I was like, so I'm not wearing one right now. I was like, nope. And I can't give you this $5 bill and get my coffee. Nope. Okay. But I can go out there and order it and then walk and sit right here without a mask. Yes, sir. And I just looked at him. He was like, I know it's stupid. It's like, okay, as long as you admit it.
I just want to make sure
I'm
you
good.
know.
I just want to make sure like we're all on the same page that this is
you're thinking.
asinine. Yes. I want people to think and realize like that doesn't make any sense. But people just start going through their motions that's just normal to be controlled by something that's not real. I'm not saying the sickness is not real. I'm talking about the attitude of like, rules. If I stand here, the rules that are just so arbitrary. Again, for the people that I just said it's not real, I'm not talking about the sickness. I've had it. It's real. I've lost friends to it. It's real. But it's not the kind of thing that should make our whole society lose what we all went to. Yeah, and lose what the individual, what we all went to war for to protect. We're just giving it up at just like handfuls by the day, and it's
Like
like,
no
oh, it's just a
questions.
mask, it's just a mask. Okay, well, it's just now it's just a vaccine. Well, then you get the vaccine, you still have to wear a mask. It doesn't change anything, and 6 months later, it doesn't change anything. But you're having to get these
Not getting that thing.
vaccines. No,
Not
and
getting that shit.
I'm the first to say I think vaccines are a good thing.
Yeah.
The
Are your kids
concept,
vaccinated?
the concept of the concept, I'm not going there. The concept of a vaccine is a good thing. The concept of it.
Got
This
it.
day and age, with the buffoonery that's going on, with the
With the
craziness
flu.
that's going on,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't trust a lot of vaccines today. But the concept of it are a good, like,
Yeah.
I've had every vaccine known to man. So have you.
So am I. We don't
So,
know. This is what's wrong with
that's
us.
probably
Jesse.
why I sleep, 30 minutes a day, and
Yeah.
have some, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm not against them. I just sticking them into brand new babies, a bunch of them right away worries me. I don't like that. And then these new ones that are like rush jobs that are like, oh, now this will change everything. Then you get it,
See,
and they're like,
that's different.
well,
That's that's different. With this, I had a very intelligent doctor on my podcast who creates drugs and medicine, and she used to be a pediatrician. And so it was the episode with Dr. Fang Liu. She's from CAMH Toronto Hospital, and she has a research lab there. And my God, this woman is impressive as all get out. She was a pediatrician and fell into the same category that you kind of fell into there. Like, she has a hard time. If there's a child that has a trauma or an issue, the first thing they want to do is give them a drug, whether it's a regular vaccine. Like, I got no issue saying, like, I was vaccinated. My son is vaccinated. Majority of it is because he can't go to schools if he's not.
right.
And so, that's just is what it is. We are careful the best we can. And, I was fortunate enough. I didn't have any allergic reactions when I was young. My husband didn't have any. We've given it to him. We've been very lucky. We know there aren't as many people who are lucky, but I had a conversation with her on the podcast about how long it takes a drug to be properly tested and put through the FDA and run. I mean, the FDA is obviously useless tits, but it runs through, what it takes to actually make something go through animal testing, then to human trials. And it takes about a good 5 to 6 years, right? To do it right and to know if there's going to be any sort of ramifications or issues down the road due to the drug that's given. With that being said, this thing was developed in 18 months, not even 18 months. And they're rolling it out to people. And what I don't get is, I feel like if you're not over 70, you shouldn't be getting this thing. Just period.
I agree. Just get the sickness and get over it. It sucks. And
it sucks, but your body will fight it off if it has, it will, it does. That's how, when you get a flu, that's how it works. It just has to run your system. That's why when you go to the doctor and they say, don't give people antibiotics just to give antibiotics, because it creates superbugs. If you let people's body, or you give them pain suppressants so that they can actually heal through it, and it's not hell for them to get through it, often your body will then go, okay, I'm immune to this to a certain level. I've got the antibodies in my system. If I get it again, my body has, okay, I know how to fight this off. It's a cellular, goes down to the cells. And when you constantly just shove people filled with drugs and you don't give their bodies time to actually adapt to it and process it and see if their body can fight it off, we're setting ourselves up for such failure. All the failure. Much. It hurts my brain a little bit. Let's get the fuck off this topic, because I'm getting all stressy here.
Please. I am too.
Stop sweating. I can feel your sweating from over here. I want to know a little bit about your military service and why you joined and where you deployed. And I don't say why you got out, but I'm sure there's a sticky story there, but we can tiptoe around the goriness. So why did you join? How old were you?
I was 19 when I finally shipped for boot camp. 19, 9/11. I said 1911 because I carry a 45 1911.
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
September 11th. I was 11 years old when the towers fell. And
bro, are we the same age?
How old are you?
31.
I'll be 31 in May.
I'm a year older than you.
I know.
I'm turning 32. I'm an old woman.
How old do you think I was?
Well, I figured you were either my age or up to 35.
Most people think I'm older than I am.
It's because you're huge.
I'm huge and have 4 kids and have a limp and everything else. It looks like I've lived a lot of life.
You got the old man going dialed.
I do. If you see me stand up after this, it'll take me 20 minutes to walk straight. Yeah, it's not the years, it's the miles.
Right.
So 9/11, I called my buddy, Grant Jeffries, and we decided that when we turned old enough, we were going to sign up and go kill bad guys. And we did. When we both got brains together and went through the buddy program in 2009. I did some time in South America and then Afghanistan. I enjoyed it. Last 2018, I was in Afghanistan. Got injured. Nothing cool. I was on night patrol and fell into a pit.
No comment. No.
And blew my knee out completely, broke my foot and tore my back up. And got out. We were on a little cop, had one, we didn't have a medical facility, just had a couple corpsmen, and they trying to get me to go back home. And I was like, nah. So I stayed and made all of my injuries worse by wrapping them up in ice and then taking too many painkillers and
having a good old time.
So when I got back from that, went to go get fixed, and everything had gotten much worse. And so the past 2 years, 18 months, I've had 3 surgeries, and I just got medically retired after 12 years. So I actually just got my ID card just last week. So that's a big chapter of my life that's over. I wish I had a cool story like I got, took the hill and
don't
jumped on a grenade. So mine was night patrol, NVG's pit that I didn't know was there. Big dude falling with lots of gear. That's my cool story, bro.
Big tree fall hard. Big trees fall hard.
Yeah. But most of my guys didn't even know I got hurt. I quit doing heavy squats. That was my big thing. I quit doing heavy squats. I quit running the half marathons around the helo pad like an idiot. Because I was a big dude and like to show that I can still run.
I can do it.
I quit doing all that mess and I hurt myself. But anyway, so that's my, Helmand.
Yeah.
Helmand was fun. Peru.
Say Helmand?
Yes.
I know the Helmand province.
Yeah, I figured you were probably out of Bastion, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. No, I wasn't. I was. That's funny. Because that's the Brits were more out of Bastion. The Canadians were. I was in a weird unit. The Canadians, one of my other guns, because I'm an artillery gunner. One of the other guns was it's called Massamgard. So that's more of like a Canadian base. But my 2 guns, Troop Alpha, our battery, we got borrowed by Fob Ramrod. So we were in the May 1 district with some Americans. So that's kind of where my head was at. So it was an American base of like 3 kilometers around, really, really small fob. And then we had all the Americans here. And then the Canadians had like this
little corner to yourself.
Corner where the 2 guns were at, the 777s. And then we had our like 4 or 5 tents in a row. One of them had a noose hanging from it because that was fucking funny to show up to. And we stayed in our corner pretty well because my unit was French and we were with guys from Texas. So there was like 3 of us that spoke English. And so my favorite thing to do was, we were in the OP tower. My favorite thing to do was like radio checks in French.
Mm-hmm.
Just to
the Texans.
Yeah. Just to hear the Tower 4. Y'all want to come back with that one again? Control radio à vous. And they sorry about that. First off, is that a woman? And number 2.
Not a woman.
Is that a woman? Oh, here comes Kenny, our our office puppy. It's okay. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Kenny. This is Kenny, everybody. He's our
What's up, Kenny?
Kenny is our rescue. He is the president of my company's dog, but my God, he's a goddamn angel and he'll cuddle you to death. So he has to come in and say his good mornings into the studio, and then he goes off and does his thing. So my apologies for that.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we my favorite thing to do was to screw with the Americans when it was the Southern, because they really struggle with like, okay, there's a vagina. Hold on, there's a vagina on the fob. Everybody stop. Nobody move. What the fuck?
Nobody move. Freeze.
Everybody, what is happening? And then you hit them with the French, and they're like, I can't understand that. Like, it was the best. The first night we went on the OP tower, we had no NVGs, and it was like 3:00 in the morning. Can't see 5 feet in front of my hands. And I'm like, hi guys. Yeah, quick question up here. We have no NVGs. I can't see anything. So if something comes out my face, just want to let you know, we can't see anything. So if you guys could like toss us like a pear or like literally anything, it'd be super helpful. Radio tower, we're going to have to get you to call your own unit for that. I'm like, Sarge, I just need something to see. Anybody? I can't see. It was so bad. When we got there, it was such a trip because I guess the Canadian unit that was there before that we ripped out was a reserve unit. So like weekend warriors. And we made fun of them. But I guess the Americans were like all friends with like those guys, because a lot of those guys spoke a lot of English and stuff. And then so like they would come hang around, and then like my staff members would be like, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, who the fuck are these weird accent American people think they can just come over to our guns? Like, they would get real mad. And I'm like, hi, we're here to help protect their infantry. So can you guys if you could just be nice to them, that'd be super nice, because they already hate you because you refuse to speak English to them. So if you could just stop fucking that all up, it'd be super great. Please don't draw attention. Just don't draw attention. And so we were with the Americans. And then I was tasked to a British unit.
Okay.
It's me. They needed a vagina. Legit.
So you were that liaison.
No, I wasn't a liaison. I was a female searcher. So I was a door kicker, and
No, I meant like you were that. You played that role of like, hey, just get along, please.
If we could all just get along. So like, that the guys are only coming over because you're a woman, and I was like, don't care. They speak English and you don't, so it's a lot of that. That's how this is gonna roll. I didn't speak French. I got tasked to a unit that spoke a different language.
Did you? Oh, you didn't even speak.
No,
you didn't speak French at all. Oh, okay.
No,
I thought you were like.
No, I can now, but it was like a hurry up and learn.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Graduation class. Okay, basic training. Track this. Ready? Basic training in January. SQ DP1 weapons right after that, back to back. Onto the guns, learned the fuck, oh my God, my brain's gonna explode. The old school artillery guns, the 40-pound rounds. Oh my God, TBI moment. And then we went to the 777s, and then they go, you're posted. The following April, we deployed. Yeah. That was
and they hooked you up with a unit that you did not speak their language.
Yeah, there was 4 of us. There was 4, me including 3 other guys that didn't speak French. And because Canada, their second language is French. I mean,
so did the French speakers speak English too, and they just chose to speak French, or they didn't know English?
Didn't know English.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah, you would think shooting, just 100-pound rounds, 40-kilometer down way over top of people, you would want full on communication skills.
Just the simple task of being able to speak the same language.
Just anything. Yeah, my sergeant, I mean, he's dope as hell, but he tried really hard. So like his favorite thing to do when he yelled at me was to get an English somebody who could translate. And then he would stand there and make me stand at attention and then scream at me in French. And then this guy would translate it and scream it back in English. And so you try not laughing at that situation, because that shit's funny as hell.
Yeah, that sounds like Abbott and Costello or something, like old school humor.
Yeah, it was the best. It was awesome. So then, I got tasked to the British. So no, I wasn't really in any of, I was in the Maiwand district, and then I was in Kandahar, and then I was in the Panjwai district with the Brits. Okay. So I was all around. It was a good time. Yeah. But you joined in 2009?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I was there in 2009.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so I was Afghan April to September 2009, and I joined end of 2007, and then I got medically released in May 23rd, 2011. So it was a real
Okay.
quick turnaround time for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was super fun, all the good stuff.
Yeah. That sure has its way of sticking with you, though, doesn't it?
Well, oh, shit.
You don't have to. Doesn't take much, and it's like, oh, I'm changed forever.
Yeah. It took a whole, I think, 2 weeks of an operation to just really make this like super. Well, it's funny because I guess people are saying I'm getting better, but it took a whole two weeks of just absolute devastation to be like, light switch off. Here she is now.
A new human.
A new human. This is a very angry little ball of person.
Yeah,
let's just set her over here.
Yep. That switch is hard to get to flip back on. And when you get it on, it goes off so fast.
I know. And that's the thing. Once it's like, I try to explain that to people. It's like my buddy who he was my very first episode. His name's James. He was a Royal Marine. And we found out that we were on the same op together. But this was like a decade later we found out. And I had him on and we were chatting about some stuff. And it kind of blew my mind because he's like, I had a situation. And it's like this cop came up to me and we were just talking, but it's like the difference is if that switch flips, there's not turning it off. Yeah. And that's what's dangerous, especially for big dudes like you guys, because he's no small guy. Like I'm 5 foot 110 on a good day. That's if I roll my back and really stretch that shit out. But I'm like barely up to your waist. And so, when I go off, it's just like a small grenade. It's not, it does localized damage. Yeah, it's like a flashbang.
It's scary and it terrifies everybody, but it doesn't kill them.
Yeah, it doesn't kill them. I'll fuck you up, but I won't kill you unless I'm right in your face. But when you get guys like you guys, like that's a full, 300-pound IED you're stepping on. And when that shit goes off, that shit's you're not coming out of that.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
It's definitely a daily task of trying to figure that out because you can't just bottle it up. You got to let it out, but you can't, it has to be,
What do you do?
I'll get back with you when I figure, I don't know.
Do you
figure that out?
Do you do like therapy or treatments or like fitness? Like, what do you got to do something because I'm sorry. There's no fucking way you are living your life with that many kids and a wife and the jobs you do. And you're not doing anything to deal with that. You got to be doing something to mitigate.
I am. I'm doing a lot. Especially the past 2 years, Cause be honest, I was really working through some stuff last year. I'm personally trying to, I'd come right off of deployment and being away from my family for a year and then operation laid up, not able to get, not be the alpha male that I was used to being. And then rolled straight from that, was working, trying to get like, it was just like stacked. And then finally started getting back to work. And then I got robbed in San Francisco.
Sorry?
My whole film production got stolen from me. All of my gear that I hadn't even told you about that. Yeah.
Hit me with that.
That was the trip that we conceived our little boy on. That's a funny story. We got back from Afghanistan and end of 2018 around Christmas time, rolled straight into surgery. And then I was healed up enough in May. I was like, I'm going to take my wife and I, we've been at that point married 9 years, almost 9 years, never been on a vacation. So I was like, I have a job out in San Francisco. We'll go out there. I'll take you. It's beautiful. I love the town. It's a beautiful place. We'll go visit Northern California and I'll do my job. And then we'll just have a us trip.
Yep.
Well, I had a friend pick us up in a rental and we went and stopped. So I had all my gear.
Yeah.
All of my cameras and sound equipment and lights and everything it's not cheap. And parked at the Golden Gate Bridge. Went over there, looked at the edge of it, walked back, and somebody had hit it and stolen everything. Within 10 minutes, everything was gone. And cops couldn't find. I mean, it was. Well, yes, I did, but it was in somebody's rental vehicle that was not under my name, so it didn't count. So that was a hit. And it just rolled into that kind of stuff. And then we found out we were pregnant right after that trip, because we ended up camping everywhere because I lost IDs, everything. I had to figure out how to fly home. Like it was an ordeal.
Oh,
Ruined that
man.
trip. We made the most of
Did
it.
it ruin it, or was it like an adventure?
It was an adventure. It was, I felt bad for my wife because it was like, for me, it was just, oh, this is something else I can suppress and just not deal with. For her,
Oh,
it was
fantastic.
because I was like, I can't throw a fit and be mad at it. Like I got to be the strong one here, and let's just make the most of it. And let's, but inside I was like, and then we got pregnant, and we thought we lost the baby. And it was over a holiday, and it was over. So, and she was not emotionally ready to go to the hospital at the time, but she was like, I lost it. I saw it. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
So we went through the whole grieving process for like a week, which is a lot harder than I thought. I thought that I thought I was always like sympathetic to people that had miscarriages, but I realized just how, even though we didn't have one, we thought we did for a week, and just the journey that especially the wife goes on. So I got to go through that, and then we found out we had it, and then she was bedridden for months on end. So all the stuff that I'd been like, I just had to keep stuffing, and then
I think you're a big dude, man, because there's lots of room to just
lots of room to stuff. Shit. And then the fireworks happened with the emergency C-section, split up, and then it rolled into 65 days of driving back. So everything that I was about to like, I thought was getting somewhere, like had to shove it back down. So yeah, I'm still working through that. I'll let you know when I figure that out. But I do a lot of fitness. Though?
Okay.
I work out a lot. You need to find somebody you can talk to.
That's why I'm asking.
Not 500 people, but like one or two people that actually you can talk to without having the how do you say it? The insulation from the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You need somebody that can actually just listen and not have to, where you don't feel like you have to protect them, I guess is the thing. As protectors, we have to feel like, well, if I tell them, then it's, so it's like,
puts that burden
I can't I don't want to just tell my wife everything, because I don't want to put that on her. Like, I'm there to protect her. I'm there to take care of her, just like she's there to take care of me. But like, so that, and then I take a lot of,
oh, fuck.
I'll walk a lot. I'm like an old man. I'll just get
walking that line in your
I'll just
boots.
be like, all right, I got to go. And I just go, and I need alone time is my big thing. I got to work through stuff. Like, I got to get away from people, because I love people. They love me a lot. And so they're always just like, and so I've been pouring for an empty cup from a very long time. And I realized like, I gotta like rein in some, like, make boundaries, figure some stuff out. I write a lot.
I saw
Writing and music helped me work through a lot of my stuff. And I don't ever post any of the super the super dark stuff.
You should. Do you know why?
I'm doing it a little bit at a time. I'm like dabbling at it. But go ahead, tell me why.
There's something to be said for brutally honest truth and feelings, and that will resonate more than you think, because people will see this. How tall are you now?
Last time I checked, that was 6'5".
Okay,
but I might still be growing. I don't know.
Yeah, you need to fucking.
You said, how tall are you now?
Now, because
I'm still growing.
Well, you are. I mean, I feel like people that are your size are just like, I'm gonna keep going, because why the fuck not?
The Marine Corps says I'm 77 inches.
Okay, so you're literally 1.5 feet taller than me, and so I can only imagine when somebody sees somebody of your stature, your size, your caliber of person, the way that you value your family, your life, when somebody sees that and they see that person willing to say, hey, I'm fucking struggling. This is what I'm struggling with. It's really dark. It may not be for everybody. It may traumatize you to read this, but guess what? If you think it's traumatic to read, can you imagine being inside my head?
Yeah. No, and that's where I'm trying to figure that balance out of like, because for used to, I was like super, like, especially on social, like I was super positive, and I was the person that I'd write positive things, and everybody was like, oh, you're such a bright light and all this stuff. And then, And then
reality.
So life kind of caught up with me, and things happen, and back to back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to fake this anymore. Not that I was faking it before, but like I would choose just to. But I was like, so the same with like the day I got robbed. My brother, he's in the SF. He's a not on social media. Thinks it's all stupid and all that stuff. But he was like, you know how much I hate your. He was with me when it happened because he was out there. And he was like, you know how much I hate your social media. I was like, yeah. And he's like, it's like, you need to put this on there. It's like, no, like, this sucks. I'm not doing that. He's like,
but you should.
No, I was like, you need to let people know when you get punched in the mouth. And so that's when I started to be like, okay, I need a little bit more honest. So I just told it. It was like, I'm not looking for charity. I didn't want any help. I'm not asking for that. Just like bad
things happen to good people too.
Humans get, and I don't have a huge following, but people act like that, like I'm something special. The ones that follow me every day, and like I'm not. We're just the same. Like, well, your life looks so great and wonderful. It's like, well, like we all struggle, and people tend to only put the super cool things on social, and so I'm trying to be a little bit more honest with. Yeah, sometimes it sucks, and sometimes it hurts, and like the whole mental struggle that a lot of I'm a dude, so I can talk to this. I don't know how females are doing right now, but I think dudes, at least in our country right now, have the mental health is a very big deal that just goes untalked about, and not just veterans either. I don't think people like us have a monopoly on mental
struggles.
Health. No. Mental struggles, on anger issues, on PTSD, on sleep, all that. Like it's in our society. It's not just, we don't have a leg up on it. And so that's what I'm trying to figure. I have a couple little ideas for a project. We might have to talk about it offline, but I want to figure out how to bridge that where people can talk about it and not have you've seen it, like, oh, well, I didn't serve, so like I don't understand, but like I kind of understand. That. Like, we're humans. We're human beings, and we're all tempted the same ways. We all have the same struggles, and we all have our own trauma that we've dealt with. Some of it might not even be traumatic to the next person, but to that person that experienced it, it's life-changing. Yeah. And somebody witnessing an ID and killing your friends, and somebody losing their grandma in their arms after a fight with cancer, it can show up the same exact way in how it affects that human being. And I think we need to talk more about that. About like, you don't have to have served to get help. Like, no, everybody needs it, and we need to talk about it. And for me in the infantry especially, we don't talk about it because it's all like, oh, you can be open and we'll get you the help you need, and then
your career is over.
You're toast. Nobody wants. And I fell victim to that. Oh, somebody's mental, like, I don't want him on patrol. I'll go to the next guy that I know is strong. Well, that's stupid, because the ones that are strong enough to actually admit that there needs some help are the kind that I really want. But then you also have the dirt bags that use it to get out of stuff, and you got to sift that out. But
that's the problem, is you get a mix of both. But I think there's room to have those conversations. But the problem is every time the military has ever said that, in that specific situation, if the military says, you can talk about it, we can do those things, what often, like you said, exactly happens, their career ends. And so they feed you this bullshit that, no, you can trust each other, you guys can talk about it to each other. But if somebody goes, hey man, like I'm really struggling, like I got a lot of suicidal thoughts, like this is going on, exactly what you said, you're not going to want to work with that. Who's going to give that guy a gun? No one.
Yep. So you're all the strong ones, we all deal with it. Like, I don't know of many grunts that haven't thought about,
yeah.
Yeah. Who hasn't? Like, in my opinion, like, I just assume everybody deals with that.
Yeah.
That's not always the case, but it's a pretty good level playing field just to go ahead and assume that everybody's struggling with suicidal thoughts. And that's a good place to start, and not be like, oh, you do what? Like, I would never. Like, okay, well then you haven't been through, like, everybody. Everybody's different.
That's the thing with families.
But in the military,
with families,
like,
it's.
Yeah. And you got to keep that quiet. You can't, you don't want to look weak. You don't want to look like traumatized people, but there needs to be more just like, let's just openly, it doesn't get better keeping it quiet. And if somebody can learn from your struggles and be like, oh, I thought they had it together and they're struggling, then when they're struggling, they're like, oh, well, I can get through this because I'm not the only one dealing with this. But it's easy. You know how it is when you're dealing with something and you think, I'm the only, like, I'm a freak. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
the only one dealing with this. Nobody understands me. I can't, like, but when you realize, oh, they got through it. They're getting
Mm-hmm.
through it. They were
Mm-hmm.
dealing with it last week. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps people get, when it gets in those dark, dark nights, they're like, they don't feel quite as alone when they realize that somebody that they look up to has dealt with the same kind of thing.
Well, that's
So
why I
I'm trying to
say,
balance that out. Like, when do I like,
but I think there's value. I think there's value. So, like, what I was getting at is like, there's a family in the military, and that family is as strong as it can be until it's not. And then when you become not useful to them, that's when that mindset of they're a number, we can't use them anymore, they're damaged goods. Then you get that idea that's planted in your head that if you didn't say anything, maybe you still would have had your career. Maybe if you didn't say anything, you would have da 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 da. So it breeds that mentality, and then when you go home and you want to say talk to somebody about it, or you don't want to obviously say it to your wife, you don't want to say it to your husband because you don't want to hurt them, you don't want to see them hurt, you don't want to see them look at
mm-hmm,
you with like, not even empathize, but you don't want to see them look at you, I want to say in shame, because it's not shame, but they look at you like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And it's like, I can thankful for that they feel that, empathize towards me, but at the same time it's like, well, don't look at me like that. I'm not dead. I'm not broken. I'm cracked, and that's okay. But there is something to be said for when you come home, when people are like, I went through this, like for the past 6 months up until January, that was like my mindset. It's like my husband, my kid was not enough anymore. My life was not enough anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't go through the nightmares every night anymore. I couldn't do it. And there was a break point for me. And if I didn't have what I call now my pack and this group that brought me out to do what I did with Heroic Hearts, I'd been fucked. I wouldn't be here. I know that. I'm okay with saying that. And I've got no shame in saying that either. It's not normal to see what we see and do what we do and experience what we experience, smell, touch, do, think, whatever. It's not fucking normal. And if you came home and you were like, yeah, I'm good with that. Like legitimately, I'm good with that. Didn't phase me, didn't affect me. I'm like, you're a sociopath, and that's a great job for you. But if you're a normal human being who was raised normal, who had never had that kind of trauma or that kind of experience, and then you're thrown into the deep end, I'm sorry, but if you didn't react like that, I'd be wondering what the hell's wrong with you.
mm-hmm.
It just is. And I don't think there's any shame in talking about it. But what I find fascinating is when somebody of your size and your stature, who has 4 kids, who's meant to be this big, for lack of a better example, this American, Captain America, big, tall, muscular, like, fucking kill anything in front of me. Like, you guys are meant to look like that. But if one of you guys were to say that, I can just get why you don't. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
you automatically thrown into a box and you're
Yeah.
labeled. And I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but I'm a artistic unicorn. I don't like being in a box. I'm completely my
No,
own
not
brand,
you.
and I like to, I like to show up somewhere as and I'm the photographer, and they think I'm the security guard. And they're
I
like,
love it.
who, what? You're the art, what? And they freak out. And they're like, yeah, I know. Like I know I don't look like what I'm supposed to look like, but I like that. I
Yeah.
like being so, and I hate, especially in uh, mental areas, when somebody's like, soon as if you were to say the word mental health or
Mm-hmm.
suicidal thoughts or anything like that, people automatically think like, oh, okay, I know where you're at. Okay, well, you were in the Marines, so it's probably PTSD, and it's probably because this is, and they automatically assume they know everything. It's like maybe it wasn't even my service in the military. Maybe it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was losing a family member. Maybe it was you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so easy to be thrown into a certain
Like
box, and
that.
I hate that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out how to deal with. But I think what you just described is the big all American, you know Captain America look that you're trying to go for and look like you
Yeah.
got it all together. I think there you should be a blend of both, and I think my dad he died 2013. I'm actually sitting in his office right now. This is his office.
I was gonna say, where are you at?
This is our house. We're in a snowstorm. I couldn't leave, and ice storm, and my house has 4 kids in it and a dog. And
I would have appreciated the hell out of that.
It would have been a zoo. It would have been a zoo. So anyway, my dad was a great example, and his example was King David. You read King David in the Bible. He was a freaking mighty warrior. He killed a lion with his own hands, a bear. Yeah. He wrote poetry. He killed a big giant. He was a poet. At one time, somebody said, "Go cut the dicks off of 100 Philistines," and he came back with 200. Like, that's what kind of guy I was.
Overachiever.
Yeah, but he wrote music. He wrote poetry. He played a harp. He was very in touch with his artistic side. He cried. When he was happy, he danced. Like, he was not in a box of but he was that. He just was that. But he was also an artist, and that's the blend that I try to go for. Is like, it's okay if I want to drink my white chocolate mocha with a little bit of cinnamon and almond milk, like, I don't care. I don't care what you say. Oh yes,
we need to switch your ass. No, you got to get oat milk, brother.
I tried it. I don't like it.
But do you drink it on its own? Do you just drink milk on its own?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I don't do dairy.
I don't do dairy either. That's what I'm saying.
I do it on pizza really hard. I go in the paint with pizza on there.
I know.
And ice cream, but I just don't do it often. But my everyday life, I've just cut that and wheat out because
wheat, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you're not Canadian?
I think I'm a little hipster. So that's the thing. Like, I can be whatever I want to be. I think you're a bit of a hippie. I don't care. I am super much a hippie. I cover, I hide it well, but I don't care. The
cowboy hat.
Yeah, it makes me not. If I wore a flat one like you, I would look more hipster.
Do you know what?
I curl
somebody called me. Yeah, you got to. I know. I've seen yours. Yours is like let me see. Yeah, yours doesn't get much. Yeah, you don't get much more southern than that.
I can't hear you now, but I'm going to put my headphones back on. We had to get a screen for match.
Yeah, it's got to match. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Shit, I don't know how to make this computer do it. Let me see. Hold on. I can get. Hold on. Hold. Nope. Hold on. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do this. Don't move.
Get it?
Don't move. 1 sec. Because I'm gonna be sad if I don't get this. Oh yeah, I got that. I got it. Good. You're solid. But that's what
we have the same hat. It's just different.
I know. We're the same person. You're just the bigger version of me. And I don't have a penis. But somebody told me recently that a gentleman named Brian Bishop, he's a co-host of Cleared Hot. He told me lately that I look like a poltergeist when I wear this hat.
I love it. It's a great look.
Thanks, man.
Don't change it. As soon as you popped on, I was like, ooh, that's nice.
I'm a hat person now. I've really got into it.
I like it. I'm trying to get my wife into being a hat woman. She's still not there, but I'm working on it. Especially the flat ones like you do. That works really well.
You know what you got to do? Thanks, man. You know what you got to do? You got to do the hat thing. And the reason you do the hat thing is because I haven't had my hair colored in so long that my roots are about this long because I'm actually blonde.
Well, you cover it up and you actually look like you're right off Instagram. You look like an Instagram model.
Oh, see, if I were an Instagram, I don't think I could be. Nobody fucking follows enough of me to be an Instagram model. Please, I'm sitting out a whole 700 followers because people don't like the way I talk, things I say, or the way I look. Like, I can probably pinpoint the moment that I did my very first podcast, and I could, as soon as I hit upload, it might as well have hit canceled. Like, the shit that comes out of my mouth is questionable at most. And when I do other people's podcasts, like, here's the best part. Tell you a quick story. I had a sponsor on the podcast and I love their stuff, and I won't say their name because I do love their stuff and I still do have it and I still do wear it and I think they're fucking awesome. But they clearly did not read the description or listen to any of the episodes until it was too late. And so they sponsored me for a while, and I think we got to like about episode 10 and they were like, hey, so we're going to need you to remove our name from your shit. I was dying inside because I was like, the person who signed me knows me. I have never changed. Well, I mean, I've gotten better at some things, and that by some things, I mean, I don't yell at people in the parking lot anymore. I don't
Mm-hmm.
curse you out if you look at me the wrong way. But for the most part, I don't really change. I don't change. And so I feel like you knew what you were getting. Now these guys know what they're getting, but
Yep.
none of them say anything. Have you ever heard of Beneath?
I have not.
Bro,
Tell me
their
about it.
underwear. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna tell you about it because my husband wears them. That's how I knew about them. They have this thing. It's like it's a 3-dimensional lift and support pouch for your junk. Dead
Oh,
serious.
I have heard of that.
That's these guys. I'm gonna hook you up. I'll get you some. I'll get you some sent down. But like seriously,
Awesome.
they even have like a cop of feel hold, and it even says cop of feel. And I'm like, the fact that you say that just makes me already feel like we're best friends. And they're camo,
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm gonna hook you up. Then I've got these amazing writers, Brian, Jason, and Jason, my 2 Jasons. They wrote this book. It's by HarperCollins. It's called Do the Fucking Work.
Nice.
And I'm gonna send you one because they send me a bunch for you guys. But seriously, like it's just the best advice in like the best fucking way. And it just talks about like don't be an asshole basically and like just try.
I love it.
Just
Well,
try in life.
our society needs more of that.
Yeah, because everyone's too soft. And then I got combat flip-flops, but which that's a given because their shoes are
I love combat. Oh, you know what? I had my last pair stolen in San Francisco with the rest of my stuff. Yep, my combat flip-flops.
I'm gonna make a phone call. I
wore them all the way through my last deployment, and then they got stolen from me by vagabonds in San Francisco. Yes.
Oh, yep. So there's a bunch of homeless vagabonds wearing bullet-filled flip-flops.
Yeah, really cool ones with the awesome patches on. I had the patches and everything. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna make a call after this. I'll make a call. And then there's actually a charity that's funny because they're called Heads Up. And there's another one called He Changed It. And it's a platform for men specifically struggling with mental health, whether it doesn't matter where you come from. And you go on there and you can do these forums and it'll essentially tell you like, hey, like, well, you think you need to make a phone call or here's some resources for you and how to help you on that. And I work with those people.
How does that form work? Do people go through that form, or is it an algorithm that tells you? Is it discreet? No,
it's completely locked in. It's completely safe. It literally is like, it gives you tips for depression, reaching out, and builds a support system, and it gives you professional services. So it essentially, what happens is if somebody Googles how to kill myself, the algorithm picks it up and triggers it to that website and goes, look at this. Like, you know what I mean? It tries to prevent before it happens. And then there's like another app called like He Changed It. I did an episode with, but there's the whole concept here is talking to people like you, having honest conversations about real shit they've had to deal with and what that really feels like and how they cope with it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you don't have to be in the military to have trauma. You don't have to have killed someone to have trauma. You don't have to have any of those things to have trauma. Like you said, it could be losing a relative. It could be seeing a friend pass. It could be something that you served with. It could be anything. For some people who are super, super duper duper soft, it could be deciding which type of milk to put in their coffee at Starbucks that day. But that
oat or almond, it's a tough one.
I'm going oat hard. Here's why. I'm gonna defend the fuck out of oat. Okay. I am not the person.
Change my mind.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready for it.
I'm listening. Go.
So almond milk tastes like fucking water and nuts. And nobody wants water and nuts in your mouth. I don't know about you, Jesse, but obviously you haven't been there. Number 2, oat milk doesn't have any watery taste. It literally is like cream. It makes the best fucking lattes. Just give it a shot for me. Just try it.
I will. I'll do it today.
But you got to do it right. You can't just pour it in. You got to get them to froth it.
No, you got to froth it. No, I'm all about the you know who. I'm a little offended I'm a little offended that you had to wonder if I just poured it in.
Are we that soft that I offended you?
Like,
did I just offend you?
I am a unicorn.
Oh my God. You are softer than Jake.
I froth my milk, and if you put cold milk in the coffee, you are a psycho.
You're a fucking animal is what you are.
Yes. And you should
Nobody
go back.
Needs that.
No.
Your cave?
I will try it tonight. I will try it today.
This shit's legit. Honestly, it makes my girlfriend got me on it.
Oat milk.
Just put like unsweetened, no flavor shit. Don't get the weird shit. Just get unsweetened oat milk.
Mm-hmm. And use that
change your life.
Froth. And it froths well.
Oh, sir.
Okay. Because almond milk does not froth well.
That's why I don't use almond milk.
That's
It tastes
why
like nuts and water in my mouth.
That's why when I'm home, I just drink black coffee because it's not fun, but I don't enjoy it. I just do it because I don't know why.
It's habit.
Yeah, I like warmth. I don't like water. I hate water.
Oh, that's your problem. That's what your posts have been about.
I hate water.
Why?
I hate it.
Why?
Because it doesn't have any good taste.
Why does something have to have
taste? And the Marine Corps ruined it. It's always boiling hot, and it's out of a canteen or a moldy. It's just. I don't like water.
Do you know what my favorite part is?
I drink a gallon a day. So I don't put that on social media. I only put.
It's not enough. That's fucking not enough.
A gallon?
No.
A whole milk jug full of water?
That's not enough.
Well, how many milk jugs do you drink a day?
Probably 2.
And you're half my size. Maybe I should reevaluate my life a little bit.
I think maybe that might help with your sleep and your digestion, and also, just all that shit.
Ouch! That one hit me hard.
I hit you in the feels. I'll hit you right in the sleep spot. I hit you in the sensitive part.
If that's what it is, if I just have not been drinking enough water, that would be a really nice, simple fix.
Wouldn't it? Do you get headaches?
Oh, yeah.
Do you get headaches? Get headaches? No. You're fucking lying to my face. And it's obvious. And if you're listening to this on audio, go back and watch the fucking video, because he's lying right to my face. It's offensive. It's terrible disgusting. Liar. I can tell.
I'm a terrible liar. I will say that I think the Marine Corps ruined me as well, because I do the whole piss color. If it's not, I have it memorized. When I pee, I'm like, I'm good. I'm hydrated. I'm good.
You know why? Fun fact. Let me blow your mind. If you take certain vitamins, do you take any vitamins?
Yes.
Okay. So if you take certain vitamins.
That was a little bit of a judgmental tone.
It was. I hope you felt it.
Do you take any vitamins? Like,
I feel like if you don't drink enough,
I drink a gallon of water a day.
It's not enough, Jesse. You're letting everybody down by your lack of water intake.
Okay. If you think it's how much am I supposed to drink?
At least drink 2 of those a day and see what happens.
2 gallons a day.
Just drink 2 gallons of water a day and see what happens. You're gonna pee a lot.
Running back and forth. I was about to say I already pee a lot.
But here's the thing. The pee test only works if you're not putting any other things in your body. So like if you're not taking vitamins, you're not taking anything. Like if you drink enough water,
vitamins do change the color out of everything.
Exactly. So how are you knowing if you're doing the color check if it's accurate?
You're talking to somebody. I'm so extreme. I am black or white. I am extreme.
No
one way or
shit.
the other.
It's not obvious at all.
If I hop in the vehicle and it's cold, I put it on full blast heat. And
You're a woman.
If I start sweating,
woman.
I am.
You open the windows.
Oh yeah, it's one or the other. That's how I am. I just now, in the past year, quit taking cold showers because cold showers made me tough. I punish myself for no reason.
No, that's not true. They're called cold shock proteins. They're incredibly fucking healthy for you to do, actually.
I know. Well, I used to do that only, and it would just make me angry.
Okay,
and
but you
I thought that was
first.
Just good. No.
Okay, so we're gonna.
So now you're talking about finesse. Life. You're starting to talk about finesse, and I don't do finesse very well. I'm one hard, one or the other.
Not you, not at all.
I'm going to drink 16 gallons of water today.
I said 12.
What you said
12.
12.
You're exaggerating now. You're being dramatic now.
I am not dramatic. I am literally the most undramatic person that's ever lived in this entire
completely
universe.
Even keeled, never gets angry, completely even keeled at all times, drinks 12 gallons of water and feels awesome 24/7.
And yes, sleep like a baby.
Oh, you look like you've had 12 hours rested with no interruptions at all.
Ouch.
You know what the best part was? Hi, Kenny. You know what the best part was? Is I went to put makeup on this morning, and then I was
Jesse's going to look like crap, so I'm just...
No. You know what the best part was? Is I used to do that. I used to be like, I can't go on camera if I don't at least put something on. And I looked at myself, and I was like, you know what? You got a kid going on 32. You're doing all right. You don't need the makeup.
You look great. You look great. Why? I thought you were up for an hour,
No, fuck no. I don't put anything on because I do this too much of this. And then that would end in sheer destruction. But you know what it is Zoom has this incredible feature where it can help smooth out your face.
I didn't know that. Well, thanks for telling me. I'm sitting here looking all blotchy and squishy.
I'm going to talk to your wife about it, and she's going to have to sort your life out.
Hook a girl up.
I'll hook a girl up. Don't you worry. I got you dialed. But I mean, you're going to have to start reaching for tall things for me, because I mean, if that's all I'm going to get from you is height.
I already do the whole face. I do the face creams. I do
do you do the masks?
I'm a woman. Oh yes, I do the mask. I'm a woman.
But you got the beard. How are you doing the mask under the beard? Are you doing over the beard?
I do it over. I do the.
You know what you should do? It might piss your wife off though. My husband's doing it right now because when he twists this part right here when he's talking, and he like pulls it out, and so he's uneven here. So he's got one of those things. It's got the little like tiny little needles in it, and you run it over your face, and you put.
Does it work? I've been thinking about it.
So he got one.
It grows it back.
Yeah. So you do that, because then what it does is it perforates the skin just a little bit, and then you take peppermint oil, which I know Jake's wife is into.
We're all. Oh yeah, my wife. She's like a freaking.
Yeah. Same
sorcerer. She has like.
Yeah, my girlfriend Tina. Yeah, my girlfriend Tina is a doTERRA rep, so she got me into it, and so I love doTERRA. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you take peppermint oil after you do that, rub that shit on your beard. That stuff's gonna grow.
What's the tool? Is it a tiller for the garden, but for your face?
For your face.
Till your skin.
Yeah, you can till your skin. I'll send you the link after.
Please do. I'm gonna do that right now because I want. Yeah. I literally just I'm done. I don't have to go back. I have my card that says I am done.
You don't have to do the face pictures anymore? No,
I'm done. So I can grow it as long as I want. I want to grow it like.
You want to.
Let me stand up. Like a big. To here.
Yeah, but you're too tall. That's like, you can't have a beard the length of me. I can't visit you and be able to also hide under the beard.
I'm not that manly. That might take several years to get that long. Like I could see that. This is like a month. This is like a full month.
Okay, so you're definitely like my husband Brady. Yeah, you got to get this thing. You got to get the peppermint oil.
Yeah.
It takes a minute. It definitely takes a minute, but I'm telling you, it'll be worth it in the end.
I got the peppermint oil. I just need the tiller.
I'm gonna hook you with a tiller, but you need to grow the mustache out and just like do the.
See, I don't know if you remember a couple months ago, I had the whole twisted, and it was.
I know.
Oh, I loved it.
You got to run that.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
I'm like,
I'm trying to grow it right now.
You know why it's not growing, right?
More water. If you tell me that I need. You're like my mom. Every time I was like, Mom, I'm sick. Like, you just need to go poop. Go sit on the pot.
Or drink some water.
Yeah. Like, you just go sit on the pot. Like, Mom, like my leg's broken. You just need to go poop. Like, but it's like sticking out of the skin. I need like medical.
No, it's just it's compound. It's fine. It'll heal itself. More water, pooping. The bone will magically the skin will close. There'll be no scar. It'll be like it never happened.
I graduated from that to the Navy corpsmen that are change your socks and take some Motrin, and that'll grow your leg back.
Isn't Motrin for women with their periods?
And every grunt ever, that's all we get is Motrin and change your socks.
I get the change the socks thing. We used to get that. You used to change the socks because my sergeant would be like, change your socks. And while you're at it, maybe your attitude. So if you could hopefully, and then, but then it never worked. If you could just fix them both, it'd be super great. But that didn't work out for him in his favor. You know, what's really funny though, is the first time I talked to him in 10 years was last week.
Really?
Yeah, that was a trip.
I was about to say, how did that go?
Woo! It was actually fucking the most cathartic thing I could have ever done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he did not agree with me being borrowed. He did not agree with the situation that I was put into. He did not agree with anything. They lied to him afterwards and told him I was fine, and then he couldn't get a hold of me, and that is a fucking fly. Woo! And he couldn't get a hold of me, and yes.
Did you get it?
Yeah, because somebody told me one day that you're supposed to kill something small every day to stay proficient. So I feel like I'm just going to take that on as my life now. There's another one. Oh, you mother. Oh, murder.
That's a good one.
Yeah, what can I say? Pretty good at stuff. So anyway, the whole situation was like, you know, he had no idea and all of this. And he's like, we didn't know what happened to you. We didn't know where you went. We didn't know you were sent home to the hospital. We didn't know anything. And then when he reached out to figure out, like nobody would tell him anything that happened to me because it was so fucking shady. So I reached out to him because of something coming up, and I need him to meet with some people so some people can get to know him, kind of situation. And well, that was a man. That was a trip, because when that's the only person that put the effort in to try to get to know you, work with you, and train you properly to make you a good fucking soldier, and then he sits there and tells you you're one of the best soldiers he's ever served with, you just fucking I thought you hated me.
You needed that. You needed that.
Bro,
It's funny because that's where I am at now. Is like I'm talking to these older guys. I mean, these guys that are like, I was their staff sergeant or their sergeant, and they probably went, they would go, you assume they all hate you, and then you're like, oh wow, you actually like, no, I was like, no, you're legit. That's why I was so hard on you, because you were so good. Like, that's what makes, it's funny. I love having those conversations. Yeah.
But you got to be willing to have them, right? Because sometimes it's just, as much as you think it's just for them, it's
just as much for you. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that you're so willing and you're so open to talk about this stuff. I know it might not be ideal for you to have those conversations, those hard conversations, because you're newly out. And like, so I get the hesitation. I get it. I see it in your face. I feel it in your voice. I can see it in your movement.
I even told you before we got on, I was like, let's not get too hard in the paint.
No, we're not going to go hard on that at all, because I don't think that it's necessary. I think traumas are traumas, and I think horrific things happen to people, but it doesn't negate the fact that there's a way to hopefully help communicate that, cope with it, move on from it. But then again, I can say that because I've been out since 2011. It's been a long fucking time for me. It's been 10 years, and I haven't been in Afghanistan since 2009. So I'm only where I'm at because of treatment every single week, because I was forced onto medication until I could self-regulate. I had a team around me. And if I didn't have that fucking team, there's no way in hell. If I didn't have my husband, there's no way in hell I'd be here. I'd been gone a decade ago. And I'm okay with saying that now. I've never got no shame in that. And when people are like, well, talking about suicide's taboo, suicide's taboo only because our society has made it taboo. It's made it like something that's a disgusting, dirty topic that you should be ashamed of. And I think that's why nobody wants to have those conversations. But I'm proud of you for whatever that's worth to you, for even being willing to mention it, have that conversation, even broach the subject, even fucking sit in the room while the subject is being broached. I understand where you're at, and you might not be ready for a long, long, long time. But I'm telling you right now, based off of the way you are now and the work that you're doing now, you're going to be light years ahead of most people that have gone through what you've gone through.
I appreciate that. And my end goal is just, I want to be able to, I don't want to just get through it and keep it to myself. I want to be able to get through it. And when my son has struggle, I want him to be like, hey, dad got through it. I can get through it. And I want other people to be like, oh, if he got through it, I can get through it. And not this whole like, oh, he was a superhero, he never had to deal with any of that. Like, why am I such a, wuss? It's like, no, we all go through our own struggles. It might not be that exact topic, but it's something that is going to alter our life if we don't address it straight on.
The thing is when you have somebody of your stature and your, just respect in your community, and you're willing to be like, it's okay for boys to cry. That's a big thing for me, because I know for a fact that my dad came from 7 brothers and sisters, and he was the baby, and his older brother, I think the oldest, my Uncle Gary passed away, I want to say in his late 70s. And that wasn't that long ago, like a couple of years ago. And my dad's 50, how old's daddy now? Going on 55. So my parents had me really young when they got married, really young. And so I know I watched my dad struggle with that because of the way he was raised on a farm with no running water. Boys don't cry. He was the one out of 3 boys, and the rest were girls. And so the idea to see somebody soft like that, and I hate watching when he hides it. I hate when he hides it, because I'm like, why are you hiding it? What if you're upset? Like my favorite is when my dad gets going or I do something and he's really proud of me. He'll call me and he'll be driving down the road. I'm so proud of my baby girl. I'm so proud of you. I'm like, Dad, let it out. Let it out, Big Papa. It's good. Let it out. Because if you're taught your whole life that boys don't cry, and then you raise your kids like that, I feel like you're setting them up for intimacy issues like a motherfucker.
I agree. And while you brought that topic up, I haven't really talked about this, but I'll do it now. Sometimes you just, and I'm sure it's anybody, but you know, sometimes you just need to cry
You need a good
and you
cry.
don't know why. And lately, really the past couple of years, I've gotten to the point where, for a long time I fought it. Not that I was scared of people seeing me cry, because I didn't mind. Like, if it's a sad movie, I'll cry. I saw my dad do it, and he was as manly as man's. Like, okay, I'll cry. I'm
Yeah.
a patriot. I'll cry when he dies. You know, and I watched Dear John, and I'll cry. I'm just kidding. I
Yep.
hate that movie.
I know it's
It's
dramatic.
so bad, so bad,
It's so
sad.
bad.
Too close to home.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
but I sometimes and lately it's something will trigger me. I don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of holding it usually happens to me when I'm working out. To be honest, I think it's a physical something that jars loose. Like, I'll be
Yeah.
doing something heavy, doing something. I'll be fine jamming to my music, like not
And then
thinking,
just
and all of a sudden it's just like, ugh, like I need to cry. Well,
just
and used to,
gagging.
I would like try to like go somewhere and like, all right, I got to fight this off, but not anymore. I just let it out, and it's
Yeah.
gross, and
Why is it gross?
it just, I don't cry pretty. I'm not a pretty crier. I'm a kind of a
According,
sloppy crier.
if it makes you feel
Acco-
better, I've been told I'm one of the world's ugliest criers by Brian Bishop, and to just shut my fucking mouth because I am
But to
literally the
me,
world.
crying is such a beautiful thing, and it's so needed. And I feel so much better. I'm so weird. I'm a storyteller and I'm a documenter, and I have a terrible memory, especially as of late. And I'm so terrified of forgetting stuff. Every time I've cried, probably the past year, I've taken a picture of myself to remind myself, a selfie. It looks gross, but it's like, I want to, so I can scroll through my phone and know, like, okay, this is what's going on in my life because of the picture. And then boom, you have one of
Boom.
those, boom, boom, and you got like, and I haven't figured out why these triggers, but like, anyone that is strong enough to let themselves cry in front of someone else, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
And I just called myself ugly crying, but like, I've never seen anybody look ugly when they cry. I think it's the most beautiful, pure thing. Their eyes turn so sparkly. Like, the human eye doesn't look any more beautiful than when it just got done crying. Like, the color's there, the life is there. It's a healthy thing, and it's okay. We should do more of it. Like, you can't overdo it. You don't want to be the sloppy person that can ever, but
Keep
to
it
be able to
together.
be a strong human and be able to allow yourself to get to that point and just let it out, and not used to, I'd be like, why? And I would try to start figuring out, why am I crying? I need to analyze, like, what is it?
There's these
Now I'm just
tear
like, I
ducts
don't
that
know.
live right there, Jesse. And sometimes you give them a good shake, shit comes out.
But now I don't even have to figure it. I'll figure it out after. I'll analyze it later. But in the moment, just stop and just let it. It's hard for me to just let it happen, because I'm always like, okay, stop it. Like, get 2 good sobs out and then stop it, because that's all I've ever done. Not anymore. Not anymore.
But
one day we'll cry together.
Well, I'll cry with you. You know what's really beautiful is when I like that you document it, and here's why. When you are ready to start working through some of that real deep, dark shit, and you do talk to somebody who is, I don't want to say a professional, but you talk to somebody that knows more than what I know. They're going to ask you to start looking at stuff like that. What is it you think that triggers you? You're not going to know. Well, you'll be able to look back and go, okay, I know this shit was happening that day. And then I have a photo right there that day that I cried. So you're able to go back, because our memories are so full and so damaged. And so, you don't know what's happened to your head. And so the memories might not always be there, but for whatever reason, the body knows what that trigger is and that chemical reaction. As soon as that happens, if you're able to document that, you're going to have 10 times easier of an idea of figuring out what those triggers are for you. Not how to avoid them, but how to work through them, rather than just going, I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. Well, you have documentation to go, I had this shitty day. I had this shitty month, and this is when I cried on this photo. So you're able to actually have a memory trigger. And that's a huge step in the right direction, my dude. That's a huge step in the right direction.
I started doing that because when John Porter happened, I was in the hospital it was like I said, it was like a deployment. Like, everything, I went from, my switch was flipped off. I was just straight. Like, even when she was laying there dying, he would, like, I didn't feel a thing. I wasn't like the husband, like, that was just like, well, I thought he was dead. I was like, all right, he's gone.
You just gotta.
Now I'm going to see, okay, now she looks like she's about to die. And I was just very matter of fact. And I kept that attitude for weeks. And I remember the first time I finally got left the hospital, I went to Starbucks to get me a white chocolate mocha.
Oh, Jesus.
And I got it. And I sipped it. And then it was just like, I don't know what it was, but it finally and that's when I documented. I was like, it has been, 2 months, 3 months since I had cried. And I had just gone through a lot of stuff and hadn't felt one emotion. And that's when I started doing it. I was like, I'm going to document this. I don't even know why I started. I still don't know why, but
you know what?
You just explained it pretty well.
Well, I think you may not know why in the time, but for whatever the reason, you are already taking the steps. Like your brain goes, okay, you know what? For whatever reason, I don't know if it's going to be useful, but this feels like it's going to be useful. You might not know why you do everything that you do, but your body is filled with this beautiful, beautiful energy that will tell you what to do. If your brain can't comprehend it, you don't need to comprehend it. You're just doing it because you know at the time it feels right. And if that becomes useful to you down the road, then great. If not, if it helped you in the time, in the situation, then that's half of it. You're already taking the steps, Jesse. And that's what I'm saying. Like you're tenfold ahead of what I was when I got out.
Oh, I appreciate it. I've had a lot of good help along the way. Well, thank you. I've put a lot in the past 2 years, a lot.
But there's something to be said for somebody that's willing to do the work and put the effort in.
And people that are close to you don't always see. They don't necessarily see the work. They just see the changes, and some of them are kind of scary. Like, some of them are kind of scary. Yeah. I need a lot of time alone. That's I just need to just go on a walk, and I might walk for 3 hours.
But that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay to ask for time, and that's something that I actually learned recently. So, I mean, it took me 11 years to be willing to ask for space and not see it as a guilt thing. Because being a mom, and I'm sure you get this as a dad, I try. I'm already at my office doing a bajillion different things. And then I go home, I'm exhausted. And then my fuse is short. My husband owns 2 companies of his own. He's an inventor. He's fucking incredible human. And somehow he's able to, compartmentalize, keep his shit together and do these things. And he's all good. If I'm like, I need a minute, he'll be like, okay. But it's like, I don't know that I know I couldn't have asked for that before, not because he never made me feel like I couldn't. I know for whatever reason, the way that I was ingrained or how I was taught that the mom is supposed to be there, make the lunch. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until she went on the road with my dad. Once the kids were gone, my mom's like, fuck you, I'm out. And she became a truck driver, and she drove for Kevin Hart on his What Now tour.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So that's how I met Kevin, was my mom, because she's loud and she's like me and she doesn't let up. And she just broke him down until he said yes. It was awesome. And so
that's awesome.
Oh, it was awesome. And so I learned, that my mom was always home. My mom always had the lunches made. She always took me to the sports. She never let me down. She never fucking missed a fight. She never missed a rugby game. She never missed a soccer game. She never nothing. And so I thought in my mind, like, for the idea of asking for space meant that I didn't want to be around my family. It's like, I want to be around my family, but I know right now, or at certain times, that there's nothing healthy, productive that's going to come out of me sitting here being miserable and cranky to anybody. There's nothing. And that was a mom guilt thing.
That's a very difficult thing to come to terms with, because you feel like if I'm not here, then I'm like, I just got off the road. I need to be here. I got to be here for, to make up the most of the time. And I might just need a day or half a day or 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I'll be a lot better to be around if I can just get away and shake it out,
off,
and just let it, like, not have to mask. That's the thing. Like, we're so, as strong people, we're always having to keep our armor up, shine bright, and like stand firm in front of your kids, in front of your wife, and that's what we've always done. But it'll catch up to you, and you got to take it off and just let your hair down a little bit every once in a while. Emotionally.
Well, we'll work on growing your hair so that you can learn to let it down a little bit more.
I had it so long and beautiful, if you remember.
I do, but it wasn't.
It was down to my shoulders. It wasn't your length.
It wasn't my horsetail. It's fine.
I'm growing it back as fast and hard as I can. I need a tiller for my head too.
You need water.
So if you got a head tiller,
I got a head tiller. Because here's the thing. It's like, I don't know if you've noticed, because I mean, you live in the South, but like, I don't know if you noticed, but generally, if you put water on things, they grow.
I mean, I water it twice. I take showers. I'm a very
obviously
clean
you're not.
person.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently I was told by the soft guys
I water my hair all the time.
well, you water your hair, but and that's another thing. You can have a hot shower for 3/4 of the shower. The last couple minutes, flip that shit to ice cold because the cold shock proteins are so disgustingly good for you. It's insane.
Hmm.
See, you know what I do is because I'm not landlocked like you, I go 2 seconds down the road to the ocean where it's like negative.
Yep.
And then I just go, ah! And I jump in real quick and go, I love the water. I love it. I love it. I love it.
See, I do love doing that. In the winter, I'll do that. I'll go jump in the creek or something. That shock it. You feel.
You're gonna get like a beaver fever or some shit from that.
Beaver fever. That's funny.
You guys have beavers down there?
Speaking of, oh yeah, we got beavers. We also have gators. I had the state record of Mississippi's
that shit. Mm-hmm. Is that I saw a video or something. You caught some crazy ass size alligator or something?
Yeah. It was 13. It made the cover of the Marine Corps Times. It was 13 feet 5 inches, almost 800 pounds. It was bigger than me, almost.
Do you eat those?
Yes.
What do they taste like?
Good. Chicken.
That's not an answer. Good is not an answer.
Fish and chicken.
Fish and chicken. That's a combination.
It's like, it's how do you say it?
Fish and chicken. They look horrifying though.
They're delicious.
Do you guys? What else do you eat weird down there? You guys eat those? What else?
We eat bear a lot. I've been eating bear.
Yeah, bear's not weird. We eat bear up here. I don't eat bear. I don't.
Okay.
I've never killed an
bear,
animal.
Deer, squirrel, rabbit.
Squirrel? You eat squirrel? But you have money. So why do you eat squirrel? Nobody needs a squirrel. Why do you eat squirrel?
Because I grew up squirrel hunting. That was a big part of what I do. I want my kids to enjoy it and know how to live off the land. I can necessarily just love squirrels, but we don't hunt things that we don't eat. So if we're going to learn to hunt and learn to live off the land, then we're going to eat it. So squirrels aren't my favorite, but my kids love them. And so.
What do they taste like?
Rats.
Why do you know what a rat tastes like, Jesse? They carry the bubonic plague. What the fuck?
Sometimes you got to eat. Sometimes you got to eat things.
Did you eat rats like in the United States? Or is that like a deployment kind of level shit?
I've done it before. I don't like rats. They're like tree rats. That's what they are.
Rats. Okay. So they taste like
squirrels
rats.
Are tree rat.
Okay, but what's a rat taste like?
Like a stringy chicken.
No. Oh no, a stringy chicken?
That's not great meat. It's not great. It's not great meat. Okay. You've had like goat, right? Like you've had goat. I know you were in Hellman. Y'all didn't eat goat.
No, because you know what happened? I'll tell you a quick story. You know what happened? Because we made an oopsie. We were the British, and I don't know exactly why or what happened, but all the goats got corralled into a compound, and then we got into a big firefight, and so they
all died.
Well, no, we went into another compound and set off some mortar rounds. The mortar rounds didn't make it there. They made it to the other compound where all the goats were at. And then we had to go move into that compound and sleep in that. So there's a smell that I associate with that's goat. Like it's like a trigger. So I don't fuck with goats. No, I've never had goat. I was pretty hard on the MREs. The British MREs were disgusting. The Canadian ones aren't bad, but yeah, and then at the FOB, there was an American, you guys call them chow holes. We call them food kitchens. And
food kitchens?
Kitchens?
What a nerd. What a nerd.
I know, I'm a horrible person. And
I still call it a chow hall. A restaurant is not a restaurant, it's the chow hall. You want to go to the chow hall?
Nobody wants to go to a fucking chow hall. Because at your chow halls, you guys just eat deep fried shit. So much fucking deep fried
food. If you want a good chow hall, go to the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force.
Well, yeah, because you guys all live in hotels.
No, who's y'all?
Well,
I'm a grunt. I never got that. They had MRS.
Yeah. So we had those, but no, we had, no, I'll tell you the extent of the meat I put in my mouth. So when it, there's a joke there. That's a good one. Atta boy, I saw the face.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, Tally will be so proud of that. My president, she loves those jokes. That's like, she's always the first one to hit me with them. I just look at her and she goes,
Got it.
yeah. Small child from Family Guy. That's me.
Yep.
Chicken, beef. I don't fuck with pork anymore. I haven't. I'll eat bacon, but, and there goes your face.
Sorry, hold on. I'm back.
Okay. I'll eat bacon.
20%.
That's okay. But that's the only pork I'll eat. I don't, there's an overseas situation. I don't do pork anymore.
I know that situation.
Exactly.
It's the smell. Is it the smell?
Smell.
When it cooks?
Smell,
yep.
And the touch. So I can't touch raw meat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't touch raw meat. That's just something
At all.
I do.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with it. So that, and then before I had Jack, it was salmon. I could eat salmon. You see a couple days a week. We live on the ocean. It's there. And fish. Now it's chicken or beef or bacon. That's it. And I've never killed an animal. Nobody will take me hunting. I've never killed an animal.
Do you want to?
I kind of now.
Okay. Well, this next season.
Okay.
All right. Maybe the world will be a little bit easier and you won't be captured by the
care.
Gestapo.
Well, no, I'll just show up because I'm about had enough.
Okay. Well, next fall, fall, 2021 fall, come down to Mississippi and we'll get you. You will kill.
You.
I'm just saying. I'm serious. You'll kill and you'll eat. And
yeah.
I'm not saying you'll go hunt. Like you will go and you will get something.
I want to.
I'm not just saying hunt and we'll make it happen.
No, yeah, I want to because there's something to be said for being able to do that. And like my dad never hunted. So like I didn't grow up in that. My dad, like we had a couple 22s around, but like the first time I was around a gun was when I joined the military. Like I didn't grow up in a military family. I found out while I was writing my book that my grandfather was in World War II. That's how long it took me to find out. It was just me. And so I don't even have my guns license in Canada because the only weapons I do want to shoot are long rifles because I like target
shooting. Need them here. You don't need them here.
I know.
Just get here.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I don't even have my own guns.
We're still free a little bit in some ways.
Is that what you tell yourself?
Not really. No, that was a kind of inside joke.
A political correct.
I will say real quick about the hunting thing. If you eat meat, I think that everyone that still eats meat, vegans that decide that they don't want to, I respect that. I have all respect for that too. But the people and I respect that. If that's what they choose, I think that's wonderful. But I choose to eat meat. I'm a meat eater. So I think everyone that does still choose to eat meat should at some point go partake in the way it's harvested. So they can appreciate what happens. Exactly. And so the people that hate on hunting but will eat a cheeseburger, to me, I can't. My brain doesn't compute because it's like
error.
If you only eat vegetables because you don't want something to die, I respect that. But if you choose to live, but don't eat a cheeseburger and then tell me I'm evil for killing a deer. Don't tell me that. I tried venison once. If you eat beef, then I think you should, at some point in your life, partake in going to harvest some sort of protein.
I've always wanted to.
It's an emotional journey for me. Every time I kill, it's still emotional. I don't love it.
It's a life.
I enjoy the lifestyle of the story of it, the journey. I love taking my kids, but every time I pull the trigger and watch it die, I get a little bit sad. And that's. But I do it because it's part of that's how the human race has existed.
Yes.
And I love it. It's a beautiful thing, but it's also an emotional thing. And it's a very it's a beautiful thing. So I want to help you. I will be the first one.
I would love to do that because I want to come learn how to do it properly. I want to learn how to clean the animal. The thing is with me, that's something I got to work on, is being able to touch the meat, right? That's the biggest thing for me.
That's a tough one, especially with your background. And so we'll do as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, exactly. Wear gloves. See, you know what the situation was when all that shit happened to me? I wasn't wearing any gloves.
Mm-hmm. And you felt all the warmth.
I felt it all. All the jazz that goes with it. So that's why
for me, it's the smell.
The smell of factory. Yeah. You get you there.
The bacon. Yeah. Burning bacon does it.
Burning bacon does it. It doesn't take much, does it? Once that happens once, it's all it does. Yeah, I know. Listen, I've fucking held you here for 2.5 hours, and I feel like we
Has
could
it
do
been
this
that long? Dang.
bro. It's been that hour. It's been that
You're
long.
gonna have to just cut it down to like 20
I'm
minutes because I'm super boring.
I know I'm not cutting a single goddamn thing out. So you better get on board with that real fast because yours is probably gonna rock out this week because I'm super pumped on it.
Oh, sweet.
I'm really grateful, Jesse. I know with your time schedule, and I know people tell you that all the time, that they value your time and they value having you here. But here's the difference between me and all those other people. Number one, you didn't have to do this at all. Number two, you guys are, when I say you guys, I say your family, because you guys have been always so incredible with your time. You've always been willing to answer messages. You've always, been open and honest. And I think that's why I really fell in love with your family. I'm so glad I got to meet Tim, because with comes Tim comes you guys. And that was special to me in every single way, if only just because, I got to see these beautiful journeys that you would never normally see except for with social media. So as much as I hate it, I'm also grateful for it because it got me where I am to be able to have connect points all over the world, and you guys being one. And I truly feel like I know I could show up on your doorstep and it wouldn't ever be a question. I would totally curb my language for your children. So don't worry. I know how to keep my mouth shut.
Show up. They were raised around Marines. Just get here.
I know, right? And so I'm eternally grateful. I'm stoked to see what you've got coming down the pipeline. Like, I know work and business has changed for you drastically, and it's changed for a lot of us, and figuring out how that works. But if there's anything that I or Brass and Unity or any of the charities I work with or anything, you just reach out. We're always here to talk, whether it's on here or not on here. But I mean that in the most wholehearted way. I've taken off my CUNT hat for you and put on my tell me your life story, give me your words. I'm here to listen. And I'm more than honored to just pick up the phone anytime you need. I mean that. So same goes with your wife. The same goes with all of your family. I've only been privileged to meet a few of them, but the ones I have met have been hilarious, redheaded weirdos, and I love every goddamn second of being in your.
They're awesome. I'm definitely the most boring one in our family, so you haven't met half of us. Yeah,
I know. I feel like the other half of you guys would be like, "Why the fuck are you talking to that Canadian? She is batshit crazy and cusses like a sailor. You guys are embarrassing yourselves. Do not attach yourselves to her."
Nope. Just get here to the compound and you'll meet the whole clan.
Well, the fact that you just said compound and clan just already solidified that we're friends.
Yep. It sounds really crazy, but you'll understand it. We're very docile until it's time not to be. We're fun.
I'm just grateful, Jesse. Is there anything?
Thank you for your time.
No worries. Anytime. Is there anything that you want to plug or talk about that you got coming up that you want to let anybody know, or are we keeping that to yourself for right now?
No, we can. The biggest, some of it's, let's see. Really, I'll talk about one. Pat's Purpose. You saw my buddy died from, he got some really crazy form of brain cancer, and it linked back to the exposure from Afghanistan and toxic exposure. And it hit him. He died just November 5th, right before Christmas, a couple months ago. And he fought cancer for 3 years, and he was 29 years old when he died. So the war was over for him. He was back home trying to live a life, and it came back and bit him. And so we're Pat's Purpose is the name of the foundation that his family started, and I'm helping out with it. We got an event coming up with that. So if anybody wants to look into that, we're just trying to really just raise awareness for our generation of veterans to start seeing symptoms early, understanding a lot of what we deal with on a daily basis, we think is normal, that it's not. And we're just trying to help with that. So that, and then I've got a lot of film projects and a lot of, I've got into real estate. I'm a land mogul now.
Oh, land mogul, Jesse.
That's what I joke about. It's not, I just own my wife. This year we're like, all my film stuff just came to a crashing halt because LA shut down, and was like, I gotta, I think the word that rich people use is called diversify. So I decided to put into some rental properties, buy up some land around here. We're Lord willing, we're about to get another little ranch next to us. So it's fun. I'm trying to work on more of living for a living instead of working for a living.
That's
So
awesome.
we'll see how that goes. Got a lot of little irons in the fire, but we'll keep you posted.
Please do. And
I'm wearing one of my favorite ones right now.
Ah, shit. Look at
I
you
never take
go.
it off. Never take it off, even when I shower.
God. When it busts, let me know. We got a warehouse
I
full
will.
for you, because eventually that
Sweet.
thing will go by wearing it in the
Yep.
water. Do you not read the
Yep.
instructions? Jesus Christ. Nobody reads
No,
the
I do
fucking
not read instructions. I'm a grunt. I'm an
know.
infantry dude. We don't do that.
I know, and you don't drink water either. Listen, I'm
I drink
grateful.
a gallon a day.
Don't drink enough. I'm gonna keep pressuring you on that. Stay on as I say bye to you here. Stay on for a second after, would you? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, please make sure that you check out Jesse's Instagram. Do you want to give us your Instagram handles, please?
Sure. It's just the Jesse R. Phillips. The only reason I have I'm not conceited. I have 17 million fake accounts from Nigerian warlords who try to scam women into sending them money.
Yeah, you do.
So
I've seen
the Jesse R. Phillips.
Because Jesse thinks he's a warlord. Anyway, everyone, we're going to leave that at that, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you guys for coming to this week's episode. See you later.